Chairman Commissioners, it's 5 o'clock and we are live.
Hey. Call to order for Valencia County Planning and Zoning Commission. Today's date, Tuesday, December 16th is 5 p.m. Moving on to the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Moran, I haven't had you.
Oh my gosh, I'd be honored.
Please.
All right. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of
of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good job.
Approval of the agenda. Have all the commissioners had an opportunity to look at today's agenda?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is there any questions or comments?
No.
That agenda, prior to this, us going to order, it was brought to my attention that action items A, solar field zone 2025-100 and action item 7B, solar field zone 2025-101, have been tabled until the next meeting or a meeting after that. Any questions concerning that?
No.
Okay, so other than that correction to the agenda, there any other questions?
Nope.
We have a
I move a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
motion
Second.
with a second. Any discussion on the motion and second? Hearing none, call the vote.
Commissioner Chavez, how do you vote? Commissioner Moran, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Aguilar, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Freeman, how do you vote?
Yes.
Chairman Sublett, how do you vote?
Yes. Moving right along to action item number 4, approval of the November 2025 Planning and Zoning Commission minutes. Have the commissioners had an opportunity to go over the minutes?
Yes.
Are there any questions or concerns on those minutes?
No.
Hearing none, do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Motion with the second, any discussion on the motion in the second? Hearing none, call the vote.
Commissioner Chavez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Moran, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Aguilar, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Freeman, how do you vote?
Yes.
Chairman Sublett, how do you vote?
Yes. Moving right along, staff reports.
Chairman, Commissioners, so with the holidays coming up and the end of the year, we've got a few events and stuff coming up. For OAP, they're going to be hosting a senior dance this Friday on December the 19th. That's going to be at the Berlin Senior Center, starting at 1 p.m.
10 o'clock.
That's going to begin at 10 o'clock at the Berlin Senior Center. You never know. They like to party over there.
It's followed by a nice, sorry. It's followed by a nice Christmas lunch versus the average lunches. Above average.
What's the date on it?
Then
Date on that one?
It's this Friday. So
This
it's
Friday.
gonna be the
this Friday, 10 a.m., Berlin Senior Center. If any of the commissioners would like to attend, please let us know so we can check if there's going to be a quorum established or anything also. For our individual department for community development, we're also going to be having our little Christmas party during our lunch, also on Friday. So that'll be out this Friday. We're going to do that at around noon. So that'll be during our lunch hour. The county, Valencia County, is going to also be having a Christmas party, I believe, / employee appreciation for next week. That's going to be December the 23rd at 1 p.m. That's going to be at the Valencia County Fairgrounds, which I believe is soon to be under the county's ownership. That leads us to some closers that we're going to have. So some of the holiday hours are going to be a little different. We'll be closing December 23rd at noon. We'll be closed all day December 24th, 25th, and 26th. And then for New Year's, we'll be closing December 31st at noon, followed by being closed all day January 1st. Coming up next month before our next meeting, we're also going to have the legislative conferences going on in Santa Fe. That'll be December 20th through the 23rd. I believe they've already canceled the Board of County Commission meeting that was to be held during that time. So I think a lot of the commission and a lot of the board is going to be at that. So that'll be in Santa Fe. That's January 20th through the 23rd. Sorry about that. For our next P&Z commission meeting, that's going to be January the 27th. We're going to be including all of the reorganizational stuff. So we'll be doing oath of office, Open Meetings Act, Robert's rules. We'll be electing a chair and vice chair. And then we'll also be looking at the schedule for next year as well. One thing we wanted you guys to kind of consider is this year we did adjust the time of the meetings from 3 o'clock to 5 p.m. So if you guys want to consider that, and we can discuss that a little further when we present the schedule for next month, we can give you two options, one with 5 o'clock meetings, one with 3, and you guys can decide on that. Just something to consider for the schedule of next year. And that covers everything. I stand for any questions.
Commissioners?
Nope, good.
Sounds good.
Christmas party at Valencia County Fairgrounds. So is it gonna be at the fairgrounds, or is it gonna be like at the
So
posse?
Chairman Commissioners, as far as I understand, it is at the fairgrounds, not the posse at all. Strictly everything on the fairgrounds.
I have a question for the staff. A couple questions actually. First question is, so a few meetings back, we had mentioned increasing the price that the county is looking for the things that we have.
Permits.
Yeah, permits and zone changes and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And so has that gone in?
We've had some discussions. We've got a couple ideas kind of floating right now. And as a matter of fact, we are currently reaching out to the county's attorneys to get some guidance on a couple of things. One option that we've thought about doing is, instead of increasing the cost of applications, put the mail out responsibility on the applicant. So they will be responsible for the mail out and all of the public notice. On something like we had today, the solar field overlay, we had over 100 addresses that needed a public notice. So just in the 2 solar fields, it was over $1,000 or $2,000.
Right.
So they tabled it, and we're gonna have to resend those again next month, and then we'll follow up and send them again for the Board of County Commission.
Right.
So that's one option we are considering. And then we've also are looking at possibilities of comparing our permitting fees to other like municipalities and counties to see if that's an option, and kind of weighing both and see what might be a better fit.
If we could, I would like to ask the staff that if they could keep us abreast of that, because I know that the costs here are starting to get pretty up there.
Yes, sir, that's
So,
correct.
we definitely need to look out for that. So if you could just keep us abreast of that, not necessarily the chair, but maybe send out a manual or something, or something like that. Say, hey, this is what is going on, and then that way we can hopefully act in those type of situations.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
I already got my other questions. So no, that's it. Any commissioners, anything else? Hearing nothing. Moving right along. Action item number 6, which would be the swearing in of participants. So if you are here with a petition and you plan on coming up and giving testimony, if you are here in favor of a petition and you plan to come up and give testimony, or if you are here against a petitioner and you plan on coming forward and giving testimony, now's the time I need to swear you in. So all of you that feel those slots, please stand up, raise your right hand.
Chairman,
Yeah.
Commissioners, we also have a couple people online if you want to guide them on this as well.
Yeah, so if you're online and you're listening to this, now's the time to get sworn in. So I would hope that you would stand up, but if you could, just raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. All right, thank you. Steve? Okay, moving right along to action item 7C, variance number 2025-089, District 4, PNC Commissioner Sublet, Board of County Commissioner Bissell.
Chairman, Commissioners, before you this afternoon is a request for the variance number 2025-089, District 4, Planning and Zoning Commissioner Sublet, Board of County Commission Bissell. Lucas and Candace Luna request a variance of 45 feet to the accessory structure setback requirement of 60 feet to construct a barn with a setback of 15 feet from Square Deal Road. Legal description, subdivision, land of Doroteo Gabaldon, tract E1B, map 91, 2.90 acres, revision 2007, C424, UPC 1006 033 486 094, followed by 6 zeros, also known as Forest Yellow Vista, Belen, New Mexico 87002, currently zoned Rural Residential District 2, RR2. And I stand for any questions.
Do we have the petitioner? We have a letter.
Chairman, Commissioners, yes, we do have an authorization.
Go ahead and state your name and sign in for the record.
How about that?
Yep.
I'll speak up a little bit too. Okay, I can do that. My name is John Kirkpatrick. I'm a local architect. I'm representing Lucas Luna today. Lucas is out of town, and I'm been registered as his agent to represent him in this matter, which I understand was tabled. I was not his representative at the last meeting that this was tabled at. I'm privy to the meeting. I looked at the minutes. I didn't want to prejudice myself against anything. So I really don't know a lot about what went on in the last meeting other than it was tabled. And there were some questions regarding some of this. First of all, I'll go ahead and read you Lucas's statement, and then I'll give my 2 cents for what it's worth. Okay, this is in regard to am I correct? Just to be correct, this is the Forest Yellow Vista property, the one that is adjacent to Square Deal Road, correct? Okay. So this is coming from the owner. It says, we are requesting approval and variance to locate a 50 by 40 foot agricultural and hay storage building to be built on we do have some graphics as well to go with this? Okay. I'm sorry. 50 by 40 foot agricultural building and hay storage to be built on this subject property, 15 feet off the south boundary of Square Deal Road. This building will be approximately, Lucas said 20, but it's actually about 30 feet from the edge of the road, okay? Not from the road right away. Lucas goes on to say, first, this would allow better location and access for his building due to the elevation difference from the structure, which is from the road to the level of the property. The road, his access road would come off of not Square Deal, but Forest Yellow. Square Deal is a good 10 feet below the grade elevation of the field. There's a retaining embankment at the right of way, which I just spoke about. It's approximately 10 feet to grade. It's about 20 feet wide. That is not on his property. That is on the Square Deal Road property. Okay, this is the embankment. I don't know if there's some photos. I can't see, but we could go to those if you've got some. There's some pictures of that property from Square Deal Road, I believe, in the record here.
Okay, just a second. Let's see if they can bring that up.
Yeah, it's helpful. Just so you know where this is, what we're talking about. That's the embankment. Okay, his property is up on top of that embankment. That is Square Deal Road that you're looking at.
Can you speak into the microphone, please?
His property is on top of the embankment. That's Square Deal Road that you're looking at. I can't look both ways, right? his property, once again, it's at the top, that's, all that embankment is on the Square Deal Road right away, okay?
So the edge of the property is,
That's where that woman is standing, is the edge of the property, okay, roughly. It was a little bit hard for me to discern based on photographs and the survey that I had and going and looking at some of the corners. But I wanted to be clear before we presented this, that is not on his property. Okay, so that is the embankment that makes it impossible for him to access that property from Square Deal Road. Okay, so he's going to be accessing it from Cielo. Okay, he says entrance to the property, he goes on to say entrance to the property would be 20 feet off of Cielo Road, approximately 20 feet off of a Square Deal Road to allow access with his farming equipment. Currently, he's using it for grazing and irrigating. Secondly, this would allow the majority of the property to continue to be used for agriculture. The irrigation turnouts are currently located on the north side of the property. The proposed location of the shed was in location. It was harder for the water to reach due to the elevation change close to the road. This is his statement, right? He goes on to say that he can assure that the building will be built, no harm to the community. That's for you to decide. I'd like to take a look at that property because this is what, certainly it's incumbent on us to the client or the participant here to prove that there really is no burden to the neighbors and that the burden on this property would leave it in less of a situation where it would be arable and accessible to irrigation. So that was the primary reason that the owner came to me and said, I would like you to take a look at this and see what we can do. I will tell you, when the zoning ordinance was adopted, I believe around 1990, I was here in 89. I got here just when Stephen A. Chavis was developing this. They utilized templates from other zoning ordinances to come up with these zoning ordinances. The 60-foot thing is the 60-foot setback is a setback that is basically set in stone based on templates from other zoning. The idea there is that in a residential setting, you don't want to have storage buildings up close to the road. That's the basic idea here, right? So this 60-foot is a random number, although it's been worked on through other zoning ordinances and whatnot. And it appears in this ordinance. I think it was adopted originally in the original 90 ordinance when the very first, there was no zoning ordinance in 89, I believe it was around 90. So my discussion about this would be that I'd like to point out that it is a corner lot. The primary access is actually from Cielo Vista, which is not a road, by the way. It is a access easement, 20 feet on either side of the center line of the road. The property line is in the center.
just a second, I want to look at that.
Yeah, let's take a look at that property because I think it's really important that we look at it.
The access road is west of the property.
Correct, right where Ryan is putting, or whomever's running the cursor, right about there. So we have no way to access. And I want to point out a couple of curious things. Okay? Look at the property to the left. Property was built, when I go back through the research on the Google Earth, between 96 and 99. Okay? Oh no, that one was between 2006 and 2009. That property there to the left. Take a look at where the outbuilding, the storage building is on that property. That is within 60 feet of the road, of this road. I don't know the name of that road, but there. So that property there, if it went by the rule of 60 feet, you're a corner lot, begins to trap you, right? It begins to force you into the corner. That lot there is within that storage building there. The adjacent lot is within 60 feet of Ladera Road. Okay?
Mr. Trebek, let's stick to what
Okay,
we're,
so I'm just saying,
we're not,
I'm just showing you that there's context in the neighborhood that
okay. so
supports my
Do
position.
you really want to go?
Well, I just want to show you that that's there.
And let's stick
There's
to
also the
Mr.
property
Kirkpatrick.
adjacent. Okay.
Mr. Kirkpatrick.
Yes, yeah, I'm just showing you what's in
Let's stick to
context.
what we're looking-
Okay. Well, okay, so if I go 60 feet from Square Deal and 60 feet from Cielo, that puts me in my back corner. You know, that's sort of counter against the RR, residential, arable, agricultural land. I think it's a simple ask on this piece of property to come within the 15 feet back to that corner. Adjacent to that corner, the property next to it, there's a storage building there. That building was built in between 96 and, so that might have been before the ordinance, but well, all I'm stating is that where we're asking to put the storage shed is no different than some of the adjacent properties. So in my feeling, you know, in order to prove our burden here, I have to say, let's look at the neighbor's context and let's see if we're going to be any harm to the neighbor's context. And so when I look at the neighbors, I see that both neighbors have storage buildings within 60 feet of a roadway. So I say to myself, if I want to justify a change here, which is our burden, I would say to you that we do have context in the neighborhood. I would also say to you that it would make the property easier, as the owner has stated, easier to water, which puts more land into the arable category, which is the intent of RR, to try to keep the rural residential feeling integrated throughout the community. So I'm saying to you, I do not think, in my personal opinion, that this particular piece, there's any harm being done by moving it closer to the property. In fact, I think it's improving the arability of the property and the ability of the property to remain in agricultural, because you're taking the development and you're pushing it a little further to the edge so more of the property can be available to farm. So my case, or my case here is that this particular request is not harming the neighborhood in any way, shape, or fashion than is already presented in the existing context of the rest of the neighborhood. I am curious if that other property ever did they receive that property that I'm talking about? Did that property receive a variance to be allowed to build within 60 feet of Ladera Road? I was be curious to know if that property ever did.
All that information, is public access, and you could use a different time other than.
Yeah.
now to investigate that.
But if that is the case and there was a variance allowed
If
to
it was
that
the case,
property,
then I'm sure that you, John, would have scooped it out, right?
I didn't have time to do that.
And then are you gonna hold that against us?
No, I'm just curious.
Okay.
Would you not be curious as well? Yeah.
What we're looking.
Would this body be curious, though, that that property did receive a variance? Would that be something that would be of use to you folks? In your decision making? I mean, that's basically it for this piece.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. Commissioner? I have a hard time believing that if he had to go back 60 feet, that it would be towards the northern part of the property, because Mr. Baca, what's the size of that lot? You know, just for public knowledge.
Point.
Chairman, Commissioners, based on the legal description, that is approximately 2.90 acres.
Okay, so if this hay barn was, if the proposed hay barn was constructed 60 feet back from, you know, the easement, or would that put it on the opposite side of the property?
think the plat
There is a drawing, I believe.
shows the drawing where the 60 feet would be. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
We have a big crowd, so I want
Right.
everybody to be aware of what.
Ryan, can you show the exhibit that we prepared showing where the proposed location is? So that location there shows 15 feet away from the property line. So if you were to go, and what is that building, 40 by 50? So if you were to go 60, that building would, that edge of that, the
southern
edge of that building would be about where the north edge is.
So it's not gonna be on the other side of the property.
No, it's not gonna be on the other side of the property, but it is it's impinging in more into the property.
But I could have sworn that I heard you say that. Another thing that I thought I heard you say was when you were reading out Luna's letter.
Yes.
So requesting approval and variance to locate a 40-foot agricultural and hay storage building built on Forest Yellow Vista Road, 15 foot off the property boundary. The current requirement is 60 foot from Square Deal Road. This would place the building approximately 20 feet from the road. And you did read that correctly, but then testimony was, but it's gonna be more like 30 feet away from you.
Well, yeah, from the edge of the road, not from the,
But
So-
there's that part that's still in easement, and you're still taking up 45 foot of easement, correct? Or you're asking, variance on them.
yeah, so the way I understood it, and just bear with me. Because I did need to read, I asked staff, Ryan pointed me in the right direction. He said, read these definitions of road. I think it's informative for this meeting. Here's the definition of a road. Any public or private access road platted, recorded, whether used, dedicated, or not, okay? So one of the questions I had when I first took this case, or whatever you want to call it, I don't want to call it a case, what is the nature of, because the Cielo is not a road. I mean, it's not a publicly dedicated road. It is a private access easement, but within the definition of a road.
Yeah, but you're getting them confused because,
But I'm not saying anything counter to that.
okay, but.
I would agree that that access easement is by definition in the county, is a road.
Okay.
Okay,
so-
I'm not disagreeing with that one bit.
But what we're talking about is not Cielo Vista Road right now. What we're talking about is Square Deal Road.
Okay, yeah, okay,
That's a
that's,
60-foot easement.
okay, so then here's the next one, setback. What is the definition of setback? Definition of setback, distance from the edge of a public road to the nearest point of a structure. That's pretty simple. So it is the edge of the road. There was some debate whether it was the center line of the road that you go from or the edge. It's clearly the edge of the road.
And if I'm not mistaken, on your testimony, Mr. Patrick, you said it's a 60-foot setback. And you said, quote, it's set in stone, end quote.
Well,
Those are your words.
it's in the code as 60 feet. That's what I mean. It's set in stone. It's in black and white in the code.
You said set in stone.
It is. It's in the code, 60 feet. It's in the code, 60-foot setback.
You did say that.
I did. That's what it is. It's in stone.
Stone is pretty,
It's black and white in the code. Isn't the code the law?
continue.
So my thing here is that really, truly the intent of the code is to keep storage buildings off of the front of the property where you access your property. So you don't have a storage building at the front of the property. In my opinion here, we're putting this in the most desirable place on the site to allow for the RR use to be continued and keep the land in the most arable condition that it is. And I personally feel that it is not a harm to the neighborhood because the existing context shows me that the neighbors are doing the same thing. So if we're going to put a storage building and back up another storage building, I don't think the harm to the neighborhood is as pronounced as it would be if it was not that way. That's all I'm saying in regard to the the neighboring properties having those storage uses within 60 feet of a public right-of-way. And I am very curious about how the house, if the house, and I will do that research, if the house next door actually has a variance to allow it to be within 60 feet of Ladera Road. Because it doesn't tell you in the code, it doesn't make a differentiation between a corner lot or a tweener lot. So if you look at that other property, I know we're not talking about it, it's bordered on three roads. It would really be, if they were to really put that storage building on that other property within the definition of the code, 60 feet from that road, 60 feet from it would have been in the middle of the property and it wouldn't even be useful for irrigating. Not up there, but if you look at those properties, most of the land is still dedicated to irrigation and agriculture, and that's the intent here. I really personally don't think that the 60-foot setback fits an agricultural zone. It's more fitting for a suburban zone. And my personal feeling on the RR1 and RR2 rural residential is that it's not quite a perfect fit. But nothing's a perfect fit in the code. I mean, we have to make rules. We have to write them down in black and white. And that's why we're here asking for a little bit of leniency on this one because of a special case, corner lot, existing neighbors. And I'm going to beat this horse. That's basically all I've got to say on this one. I say it 3 different times. Comes out the same.
I'm giving you ample opportunity to.
I appreciate that. Do I have any, that's for this particular item C, that's what I got. Do I have questions that I can?
Yeah, I've got another question. for
Yes.
you, Patrick. So describe in, for lack of better terms, architectural specificity, the manner of building of the proposed hay barn. In other words, is it going to have a concrete bottom or is it just going to be steel posts with like a hay barn with a roof?
I don't know that. I didn't get that far with the owner. I couldn't tell you.
So
It is going to be a completely enclosed structure. I do not, because he does want to store hay there. I do not know whether it has a concrete floor or not. It will be a completely enclosed structure with a garage door.
And so in your specialty, I'm sure you've drawn many hay barns and stuff like that before, correct? Somebody who's going to store hay or alfalfa, how tall do you think a normal hay barn would be?
Well, I think for a useful hay barn, by the way, most hay barns don't have concrete floors. They're usually pole barns. They usually have a dirt floor. But 16 feet would probably be the minimum height to reasonably store hay, 16 feet.
So if we were to build a building, or if the petitioner was asking to build a building, do you have any architectural drawings or anything like that? You don't know?
No, but from what he told me, it's going to be a metal structure, whether it's a pole barn or a prefabricated engineered metal building, I don't know, but it's going to be double sloped. And what they call the bent, that's where the structure goes like that, is probably going to be about 16 feet. I sure wished I could tell you. I should have asked that question. Are you going to put a concrete floor in it? My understanding it is to be used for hay, seed, feed, that kind of thing. So I wish I could provide more clarity on that, but that's.
So we don't know if it's gonna have pitch. We don't know.
It'll be a double pitch. I was described that, like a metal building that you would buy out of a kit and it has a double
Okay,
pitch.
so then if it's going to go 16 foot on the perimeter, it could go as much as 24 foot.
Well, okay, yeah. So a metal building, like typical is a 2 to 12. It's 40 feet in the short span. 2 over 12, that's 3.5 feet from edge to ridge. Yeah, you're probably looking at a building, if the bent is 16 feet plus 8 inches for the purlins, you're probably talking a building that's gonna be about 21, 22 feet tall at the peak. Yeah.
Right.
And I don't know the pitch, but usually they're 212 for a metal building.
So you can see where
Yeah,
we have,
it's a little bigger than, yeah, but I still think it's in the corner enough, tucked away with the other storage buildings that are neighboring it, that I don't think it's a very imposing thing to the neighborhood off of Cielo. It's still back, we're still observing the Cielo by far, way
we're
way
not
more.
talking about Cielo.
I know,
We're talking
I know.
about- Talking about, I'm sorry.
Square deal.
Or deal.
Square Deal Road.
Yeah.
So there's a difference.
Yeah.
Because Cielo Vista is, I believe, the next
Yeah.
one here. Forward, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's not get that confused. I want to stick to. the-
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's a different
So
deal
I
altogether.
understand that you've got a 15-foot embankment.
Hmm.
I assume that was done previously because they leveled the land, so it's being used for agriculture. Just by the aerial photographs, we can see that it's being used for agricultural purposes, correct?
Yeah, and I don't even know who made the improvements with the rock, but when you go to the Google Earth, the stone
Right.
was put on probably in the last 3 or 4 years. And I have a feeling that was done not by the county, but by the landowners, which is actually a very nice improvement because it keeps it from eroding.
It stops the erosion.
I'll bet they had problems when they watered that piece back in the day of it breaking over that edge, because it's a 15-foot drop to a deal or 10-foot drop to a deal.
Commissioners, you got anything? Please.
I'm good if we focus on the definition, requirements of authorizing a variance. And subject to the application procedure and adequately demonstrated by the applicant that the proposed variance satisfies the following criteria. Number one, special conditions and circumstances exist which are peculiar to the land, building, or structure involved.
I think it's peculiar in the way that it doesn't allow the water to be, does it not allow for the property to be watered in as efficient of a manner as that could be. I do feel like that would fit that definition.
Granted, in the public interest and would be in harmony with the purpose and scope set forth and the intent and purpose of the underlying zoning district and the intent and purpose of the ordinance.
Well, yeah, okay. Because I feel as I explained to you, that it's sort of a square peg in a round hole on this one, because the nature of the land truly is agricultural, yet the 60-foot right of way is more of a suburban template code zoning ordinance that was ripped probably from whomever back in the day when they were putting together the code ordinance. So I don't think it's a great fit. I think it's a benefit to the neighborhood if that land stays primarily in agriculture, and that pushing that to the corner is not any different or changing the nature of Square Deal Road by any means, because of the existing properties that are utilizing it in the same manner. And I just think it keeps the rest of the land open and more arable and more in keeping with the intent of the rural residential, the original rural residential zoning.
And minimal detriment to the immediate vicinity.
Well, again, I think that points to the last statement that I just made regarding the existing properties neighboring them are doing the same. And if you look at them from Google Earth, they're all completely shrouded in shrubbery. I don't think the trees, whatnot, I don't think that this is going to be any detriment at all to the neighborhood. In fact, like I said, I think it's going to keep the remaining property more sacrosanct for agriculture.
Variance. And also reasonable use of applicant land building.
I think it's a reasonable ask. We're only asking for 40 feet. We're still going to be back in that corner. It was certainly reasonable enough for the owner because the owner wanted to make the request. I did ask the owner, would it have made a difference to you if you would just, if this is 60 feet, if the building, and he said, well, yeah, because he wants to utilize most of his property. He does put cows on there. I don't want to get into that because, you know, that's an administrative zoning thing, but however many cows he has or whatever, but he wants to keep most of the property for that use. So taking it out of that use just takes more arable land out of the picture for him. And I told him I don't think it was such a huge ask. We're not building it on the property line. We're still staying away from Cielo, which keeps the nature of the development basically the same. So I felt that this wasn't a very difficult ask. Still a very difficult thing to prove our burden on this, but I thought it was reasonable for me to try. See if we could do this.
Number 6, this is more for Brian. Granting the variance does not violate any state legal regulation.
Chairman, Commissioners, I would have to look into that. I don't have an answer for you on that one. I know one of the main state entities for the environmental that we work with is regarding septic, including liquid waste disposal. Sometimes there are certain setback requirements for septics. I don't know if that's what this is referenced to. I'm gonna have to look into it and get back to you on that. I don't have an answer for you right now. I'm sorry.
And Mr. Baca, now that the petitioner brought up the fact that, that it wouldn't just be for agriculture, it could be for, bovine for cows and livestock. And if this is a hay barn, like they're presenting it, then there would be a possibility that those animals could be stored in this hay/barn. And then would the runoff on that be going against the state, like Commissioner Moran had said with
So the keeping livestock in your property is still considered under the umbrella of agricultural use, farm use. So that would still be an allowed use. What if they choose to store hay in this, if they choose to store a couple goats, it still fits the agricultural umbrella of what the use of the land is primarily being used for. So we could look at specifics as far, the only county thing that we get involved with livestock is a minimum square footage per animal, essentially,
per acre,
which,
like 2 cows or 1 cow.
yes, sir. So
Something like that.
Yeah, we got 2.9 acres. We could have
And-
12 large hoof or 32 small hoof or a combination thereof.
Right.
yeah, and that's typically, like he had mentioned, that's something we administratively review. We have code enforcement officers that do go out and observe this and try to keep everybody within means.
I think he has some longhorn or he has some cattle on one of those pieces right now.
And Mr. Baca, is there an easement, is there an actual like utility easement or easement in that 60-foot that we need to be aware of?
Chairman Commissioners, no, not that we've seen from the plats that were provided or anything. The easement, the road and utility easement are strictly within Cielo Vista or within the right of way of Square Deal. So on the southern portion of this property, there are, from what we've observed, there are no road easements or utility easements included on the southern portion of this property. So the 60-foot is, it's not an easement, it's just a setback requirement for the front yard requirement of the standards for this zoning district.
Commissioners?
I don't have a question. I more have a comment. Mr. Kirkpatrick, you make a good argument on setbacks. But this board has not had any dealings with the other 2 properties that you have brought up. It's immaterial to us. Okay. You have yet to provide a valid hardship on this property for a 40-foot variance. So with that being in mind, just take a look at it and yeah, I don't foresee it.
So you had said. Let me rephrase it. Let me ask you a question. Is this a need or is this a want? Because you said that they're wanting to do this so that it
Mhm.
gives them an extra 40 feet of agricultural space. But do they need to do this?
Well, do we need to do anything? I mean, this is a want. Of course, it's a want. Is it a need? Is it incumbent that they have this and there's no other way to develop the property? Of course not. But it is a want, and I do think that it is a want that is within a reasonable ask, given the rural arable nature of the property. It would actually improve the intent of the zoning ordinance to allow for open arable land within the county. And that's my case. I think it's better for it to be this way. Yeah, it's not a need. No.
Okay, you also been bringing up the neighbors quite a bit, even against the advice of commissioners here on the board. So I'm gonna ask you a question about the neighbors. Because you keep saying, well, these ones we believe are out of, and these ones
Possibly.
are out of line. So
Maybe they got a variance. Yeah.
So my question is, do you think that they're wrong?
Oh, no, I don't think they're wrong. I think they're actually, again, utilizing the property more in keeping with the need to have open space in our community. So when I did look at that other property, I thought it was a practical use of the property.
Well, you quoted dates on the property. You said that. certain-
Yeah, because I had to go back and find out when they were built to see if they were actually before the zoning ordinance or not.
Other people thought, I'm not saying that people do, but if other people, this was before the zoning ordinance changed. And other people were looking at those properties and they're saying, you know what, this is not making our neighborhood look good. And that's why we want to change. And then all of a sudden, here comes a big change. And it could be very well possible that change came because of other properties. And I'm not saying these two properties that you brought up, but other properties where people have said, you know what, this is why we don't want this to happen. So we need to stop now.
Possible.
And then coming forward, you're saying, hey, they already did it. We can do it. We don't need to, but we want to.
I'm not saying it in that way. I'm just saying there's an existing context here. And we're not going counter to the existing context of the neighborhood. If you built in a neighborhood and you had a bunch of one-story houses and you built a 5-story house in the neighborhood, that's out of context. You know,
You're building and you don't even really know what you're building. You're saying roughly just by your,
a 40 by 50 storage building.
that's
for-
the limit. That's not height. You don't know how high it's in. You're guesstimating at 16 foot, the pitch roof.
Right.
And that's 21 to 22 foot. You're guessing. And I take that as a pretty good guess because you're.
Probably, yeah. But we weren't seeking a height requirement variance. So I didn't look at the height of the building.
That kind of, me, it kind of like, well, I think you're coming before me without enough information on this. Because if I say, oh yeah, let's go ahead and grant you the permission to do this, and all of a sudden a 40-foot tall hay barn is built, then it's gonna be like, whoa, well, you didn't ask the right questions there, Commissioner, and we got to build. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm just asking you the questions. I'm playing a little devil's advocate here, if you don't mind. But those are what we have to do. We stand as judges here and we try to get the best story possible. So that's all that I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm totally here. I would love to give you that answer. I wish I knew it. I wish this body could make a recommendation on the height if you wanted to.
Chairman, Commissioners, so just to bring a little context to this variance came because the applicant did put in a construction permit request. So we do have the proposed structures in the packets as far as what the initial proposal was for the barn. If you would like me to pull that up, I can. Yes, sir.
I'd like to know. I didn't know about that.
You're the one standing.
I didn't know that he had a building permit. The first I've heard of that.
You talk to Luke and say, man, why'd you throw me in schools, brother?
Well, there's not gonna be a foundation plan.
So could you explain?
But that's certainly gonna give you the height right there. It looks like it's a very short building, actually.
Could you explain that to us?
Yeah, so that is a typical steel metal building frame where the building makes the corner there. That's called the bent. And I have very poor eyesight, but I see that bent. I think it says it's 16'8". Can you blow that up?
16 feet, 6 inches.
I was pretty close on my guess at 16'8". Now, they never give you the height of in a metal building,
Sorry.
drawings, they never give you the height of the ridge because it's not important. Because that's not the way
That's
not the way they fabricate them, right?
Zoom in then.
Yeah, but I can tell you.
Right in the middle, zoom in. 17.
Yes, they did. Well, that's the clearance from the other side of the bit. 17 add the depth of the steel at 8 inches on the purlin. You're talking right at 19 feet, 1910. About what we said. So it's not a very imposing structure at all.
When it's on a 15-foot. Yes, it is. Right?
It'd be up there, yeah, but I still think it's tucked back in the corner. It's actually preserving the views for everyone else.
Not tucked back in the corner, it's.
Well, it
Up
will
front.
more so in the corner where he wants it 15 feet off the road, not 60. So it does kind of put it in the corner.
Well, it's 15, okay, according to what it is, it's 15 foot off the property line.
Correct.
But the property line is like 15 foot off the edge of the road.
Right.
Because you have that embankment that's done with nice rock and all that stuff. So in all actuality, the building would be about 30 feet off the road.
Off the
and
road.
Away from the edge of the road. But you're still asking for that 40 feet variance.
Yeah.
Just.
That's what they're asking, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, by the way.
Question. So on that same line, and that was going to be my question before, but now I'm really confused. So one thing you do not have is the distance between the structure and the edge of Square Deal Road. What I have is 15 feet to the property line. And then of course you got 60 foot where the dotted line is, 20 feet width for a driveway, which looks like that's 60 feet. And if you kind of use a measuring stick or a ruler or something like that. So now we're looking at from the road, not really where the road curves, but basically from the middle of the road, you're looking at 30 feet. Is that right?
So,
Are you asking for a 40 foot or are you asking for a 30 foot request?
oh, we're only asking for
40.
40.
Okay, so you're
50,
saying,
60 minus 15, 45.
Okay, 45.
Yeah, 45.
So I'm
Bob, could you go back to that original picture of the road with, that shows the embankment, the improved embankment?
Yes, sir.
And then we can get Commissioner Chavez.
So in Lucas's narrative, he says from the road, and I think originally when he wrote the narrative, he didn't know whether it was the edge of the road or the edge of the right of way. So the edge of the road, the edge of the paving, I'm just estimating at 30 feet, you know?
So, Commissioner Chavez, do you see where, you see that gravel?
sure.
Okay, so that's actually the level spot for the property that is in question is at the top of that gravel. So that gravel is at a slant, and I don't know the slant, I'm gonna say 45 degrees or whatever. So that slant takes up 15, so the property line is is the top edge of where that gravel is.
So it's 15 feet from the edge of the road to the property line.
No, it's 15 feet from the road to the gravel, or
So Chairman Commissioners, so according to the site plan, it's from the edge of the right of way and the edge of the property line. So those share a border. So the edge of the road right of way, not where the developed road is, but where the edge of that easement right of way ends. That's what it's measured from, and which shares the border with the southern property line.
so it's gonna be right up against the property.
So this should be 15 feet from the property line, which is also the edge of the easement. So from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Mr. Kirkpatrick, the property line starts on top of that embankment. And from there, it's an additional 15 feet is what they're requesting to set this at. So from the property line that sits up top there, the requirement is 60 feet from the edge of the property line, which
Right.
would be the edge of the road right away.
So this gravel part, which is not gravel, it's big rocks,
Right.
that's actually not their property.
Correct.
So what they're saying is that, well, you've got the edge of the road, which is down below, then you've got about 15 feet of that gravel, so we're not gonna use that. And when you have the edge of the property line, which is right at the top of that gravel, the edge of the building is gonna be 15 feet away from
Right.
that edge.
So a total of 30 feet away from the road.
So 30 feet.
Or maybe
back
even
is-
more. So I have a note there, because that was a real problem for me. I couldn't, I couldn't tell where the property lines are. I went out there, couldn't find the property corners. So that existing embankment, estimated 20-foot retaining embankment, is in the square deal right of way.
Right.
That line, it says Square Deal Road, that's about where the edge of the
Right.
paving thing. Yeah. And we're 15 foot back, and then keep in mind that there's a border. This field is, it's up 2 or 3 feet, so the finished floor of our building is actually gonna be
30 feet.
a couple of feet lower than the. top
He's
edge.
asking us to give him
You
30
said
feet,
there wasn't gonna be a.
not 40 feet.
Well, you said it was not gonna be concrete or nothing like
No,
that, so
but-
the finished floor would be dirt.
Whatever the finished floor, that's what I mean. The finished grade, finished,
I'm just going by what you're telling me.
floor can be dirt. The
Okay.
finished floor is the finished grade in this case.
Making that clear. You get it? Okay. Any other questions, Commissioner?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Okay, is there anyone present or online that wishes to speak in favor of the petitioner? One more time, is there anybody that wishes to speak in favor of the petitioner that is either here or online? Hearing none, is there anyone present or online that wishes to speak against the petition? Okay, ma'am, you wanna? Come forward, sign in and state your name for the record. And did you receive a letter from the county?
Yes, sir. Not on this particular variance, on another one, and we did submit a letter that hopefully is in your possession. My name is Elena Trodden. And on this particular variance request, all I wish to do is really give a little more information. I think there were a couple of things that were said that maybe not completely accurate, or may just not give a correct view of things. For example, that one picture of the embankment, it does show,
You just said, I'm sorry. 90?
we did in the letter and in the email, we did request it to possibly be considered for 89, but I understand if it can't be.
Chairman Commissioners, so at her property, she has standing for the next case for variance 2025-90, but she didn't receive the letter for this particular one. Okay, I just, perfect. Thank you, sir.
I'm sorry.
Thank
Elena,
you.
go ahead.
No problem. So on the picture of the embankment, from the angle that the picture is taken, you can't really tell, but it makes it look like it's kind of a standard size embankment all the way across, which is not true. The like 10 foot or whatever was quoted, the highest point is actually on the eastern side, there adjacent to Square Deal. On the western side, it's actually completely flush with both Square Deal and with Cielo Vista. So the embankment kind of goes like this, if you will. I just wanted to make that clarification because the road has a slight incline to it that matches up at the end. So that embankment is not a 10-foot embankment all the way across. It does become flush with both those roads. And I know that it isn't the property, but it was brought up by Mr. Kirkpatrick. I'm sure he was not trying to be deceptive whatsoever, but the property he cited that had that structure that could be considered from Ladera to not have the setback, that is the residence of the Lunas. So it's not like a completely different neighbor, it's them. And then I wanted to bring attention to the fact that he actually had to make some variance to that structure because he did not seek permitting initially when he did put that structure up. So there were some things he was asked to do after he had already started to construct that.
That's on the neighboring property.
That is on that neighboring property. So that is the Luna's property. It's not a different neighbor that has gotten away with something. On the rock, I also wanted, I mean, everybody has already talked about it. That is not on their property. That rock was placed there approximately 3 months ago by the Lunas. Again, I don't know what kind of permission, that is not on their property. I don't know what kind of permission or any kind of permitting that would have to be done with said rock. The only other thing I have to state is Mr. Kirkpatrick stated several times that he was giving his personal opinion, not his professional opinion, but his personal opinion. And, you know, I guess it's true about opinions. Everyone has one. I have one. My personal opinion is that it would be detrimental to and contrary to what the intent of that community was. We did have covenants when we bought our property, as did everyone else, stating where outbuildings would be built. Everyone there has had to make allowances, whether it was ideal for them or not, to make changes to their property to abide by what the setbacks are. I don't think that, you know, one person should be able to do as they please, and it's okay for everybody else to have to follow the rules. That is my opinion. I don't think it's better than anyone else's, but I hope that it's at least equal to what Mr. Kirkpatrick said his personal opinion was. Thank you.
Comment was true. Can anybody just go and put rocks like that onto the road?
No, Chairman Commissioners, from what I've looked into, this is a county maintained road. So any development or any construction done within that right of way should be done either by the Public Works Department or through their permission to get that done. I made a note for myself. I'm going to be following up with Lena Benavides, the Public Works Director, to discuss this with her. There's certain standards that need to be met if you're going to be doing construction on a public right of way.
Right, because if that is public right, and if an active, if somebody, if an emergency were to happen and the road was shut down, we need to keep it as public access, so that emergency vehicles can get by or something like that. If all of a sudden you stack a whole bunch of rocks, then that's going to cause a problem, right?
Chairman Commissioners, that potentially could be correct. Yes, because we didn't see the plans, the development of this, we cannot speak for the safety or the welfare of how that's going to hold up.
Anybody else present or online wishing to speak against the petition? Sir, come forward, sign in and state your name, correct?
All right, signed in. My name's William Trodden. I live at 23 Cielo Vista Road. One clarification on not 089, but 90. And yes, all our properties did have covenants on them. The covenants stated that you build a house at the front and all outbuildings are built behind the house on the back half of the property. The picture, if you could bring up the picture of the field.
You don't stand in this, but basically you're just.
Can I comment on somebody else's comment?
You can tell us what you want.
Okay,
Okay.
so,
Just
okay.
yours. You're
Okay.
just saying-
okay, so the field, so,
Don't keep up, which
Yes.
is smart.
yeah,
But if you had more fight in it, which you don't on this, because.
I would disagree with that.
Well, the county sees it that way and we have to handle it, so.
Because as the subdivision, okay,
We're not gonna do the historical.
okay. So the comment that I'm gonna make on the property, then the building, is the setback is from the property line and the county easement, not from where the road is. It's from the property line. I don't know if everybody's agreeing on that, but so the way the 60-foot easement in the property that they want to do, they moved in a bunch of dirt, they built a house pad, and if you looked at the picture today, that picture's from 10 years ago. If you looked at the picture today, the house pad, they built the driveway basically halfway north of where the house pad is. So the southern half of the property is all driveway, all raised above the field already by a foot, dirt work. The field is irrigated. It was laser leveled by Niner. So there's no issue of water flowing. It was laser leveled last year. The property, I think I do have, or should, because it is a residential area. We have to drive by it every day. It's on my road. It's part of our subdivision. So it's kind of, your 30-foot rule or it's 100-foot rule before you get notified. That's kind of, so only the people right next door.
Okay, we need you to comment on what's going on.
So this, I'm
If you have
totally,
complaints,
I don't have a complaint against the county. I'm just saying part of the, why I don't have a say or voice and opinion on it is a little obscure, put it that way.
okay, is that?
That's pretty much I'm against it, and thank you for your time.
Anybody else present or online wishing to come forward and speak against this? Hearing none.
Department Commissioners, we did receive a letter in opposition from the public. I believe it's in your packets, if you would like me to read it into the record. Okay, so Chairman Commissioners, this is from Joe and Grace Sanchez. They are at 7 Sunrise, or their mailing address, 7 Sunrise Road, Belen, New Mexico. To whom it may concern, we cannot attend the meeting due to a prior commitment, but would like the commission to know that we are not in agreement with the variance request submitted by Lucas and Candace Luna. We had previously attended the first hearing that was tabled. My husband, Joe Sanchez, spoke and gave his reasons why we are not in agreement. We reside at 7 Sunrise Road, Belen, New Mexico, 87002. For the record, once again, we are not in agreement. Respectfully submitted, Joe and Grace Sanchez. They do have standing. Yes, sir, they do. Yes, sir. They did receive a letter, sorry.
Any other letter? Commissioners? I don't like the fact that they put all that large rock on county property. I think that was irresponsible.
If the variance request is the minimum variance, how it also the community, also the issue now with the road
And
It's supposed to be all of the brick.
What's considered the front of the property? On which road?
Chairman, Commissioners, by definition, the front yard, which is where the setbacks stand. So that is by definition, give me a second here, front yard, any yard abutting the street or lying parallel to the front parcel line. So anything that is abutting a road is considered the front yard for setback standards.
so the
So this,
It could be either
address
They
would be.
both are.
Number 777 Square Deal Road, and Square Deal Road is the front.
yes, sir. So the front is arbitrary. So it could be whatever the front line direction of the property is, but also anything abutting the road. So in this case, they have two front yards on Cielo, one on Cielo Vista for 60 feet for an accessory structure, and then also Square Deal Road, 60 feet from that right away as well. So when you're on a corner lot, you unfortunately, you do have two front yard setbacks. And yes, sir.
So that's why there's two. Oh, that's the one after this one. Because they've got to go, we gotta get permission for both.
I didn't hear any practical difficulties. I heard a lot of needs once, actually just once. That's pretty much all I have to say. I don't see why they can't move it a few feet. Well, number of feet back. It's not really gonna hinder anything. I don't see any practical difficulties. Where I'm coming from.
So, restate what you just said.
I don't see why they can't move it back. There's no reason why they can't move it back. It's not going to get in the way of A, B, C, or D. It's not going to interfere with family. It's not going to interfere with the job that they're doing, what they want to do there. It's out of convenience. And I'm having a hard time with that.
Somebody came up and said that the road and house pad, that's already above the field.
That was me and Trotter.
All the way across, that south end.
Yeah.
So,
You can talk about what you talked about, but you can't.
I didn't,
Yeah, okay, I thought you were.
I was, okay.
Yeah, and I think that, Atina, I hope I'm not, saying the name wrong. She had stated that, yeah, there was, that the picture that we were looking at was old, and that there was already improvements, for, foundation for a home foundation. I don't know.
But I also heard that from Silla Vista to the east, there all the way to the east where the building's gonna be, has been raised and leveled for a drive. So how far out does that go into the field
Right.
where that building could be moved back?
Right.
And then make everybody happy.
I think.
See, I didn't ask you about.
All right. No. Good,
There has not been a proven hardship for this variance. And it sounds to me like there's already been, again, the road, the drive, a building pad. It seems to me that they've put the cart in front of the horse, and now they're trying to get this variance to accommodate what they've already done. So yeah, that's hard for me to swallow.
I'm a pro-growth kind of person. I'm a pro-business. Everybody kind of knows that about me. I like to get in-depth into what's going on, and that when we get the whole scope of it, but I'm pretty proactive when it comes to, you know, what people, it's their property, let them do what they want, basically. But on this situation, it really concerns me that they put rock, or that the assertion is that they may have been the ones to put the rock onto county road easement. That really concerns me because of the safety. And there's one thing that I'm more depth at back other than person's own choice or person's own property or what they do is safety. I think community safety is probably my biggest pet peeve here. And until we get that clarified, I'm kind of a little upset about this. Just thinking that was that. That's kind of the way I feel.
Are you saying that you think that the property owner did the wrong?
Well, we had somebody that had said that,
Oh,
you know, so it's not me thinking that, because I come in here totally neutral, you know, so I just, but when somebody brings that to our attention, and that's when, and she didn't have standing when she said it, so, but even Mr. Baca said that that was new to him, and I think that any safety violation like that, or possible safety violation should be investigated before we go any further. That's just my kind of thing. So, just any other questions, any other statements? Mr. Kirkpatrick?
Yes.
You want to come back up or you want us to have the vote?
Have any questions?
Okay. So this being in my district, just due to the possible safety violation and the infraction that I feel was done, because just by the pictures themselves and by testimony of witnesses, I am going to make a motion to disapprove.
Second.
Motion with the second. Any discussion on the motion in the second? Hearing none, call the vote.
Commissioner Chavez, how do you vote?
I agree.
Commissioner Moran, how do you vote?
I agree.
Commissioner Aguilar, how do you vote?
Agree.
Commissioner Freeman, how do you vote? Chairman Sublett, how do you vote?
Okay, moving right along. Action item 7G, various 2025-090. Lucas, District 4, P and Z Commissioner Sublett, Board of County Commissioner Bazell.
Chairman,
Have the petitioner present.
do you want me to read it into record?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Chairman Commissioners, before you this evening is the request for the variance number 2025-090, District 4, P and Z Commissioner Sublett, Board of County Commission Bazell, Lucas and Candace Luna request a variance of 40 feet to the accessory structure setback requirement of 60 feet to construct a barn with a setback of 20 feet from Cielo Vista. Legal description, subdivision land of Doroteo Gabaldon, tract A1A, map 91, 2.90 acres, 2007 revision, C4 244, UPC 1006-033-447-126, followed by 6 zeros, also known as 15 Cielo Vista, Belen, New Mexico 87002, zoned rural residential district 2, RR2, and I stand for any questions.
Hearing none, we have the petitioner.
Well, we'll try this again. Thank you.
It's second, Mr. Baca, do you have a letter?
Chairman Commissioners, yes, he is authorized to represent the owner.
Your name and
John Kirkpatrick, architect. Thank you very much. Just one clarification. When I'm sitting at this podium, standing at this podium, I'm speaking to you as an architect.
yes,
My personal opinion and my professional opinion are the same when I sit at this table.
yes.
When I'm out that front door, I have a personal opinion. So I would like the people in the audience to know that my personal opinion at this podium is my professional opinion. Thank you. Okay, just to clarify that. Appreciate it. Thank you again. 15 Cielo Vista. We're asking for a variance differential of 40 feet. Again, Cielo Vista is not a platted road. However, in the definition of setback and road, I do believe that it does fit the definition. So one of the biggest questions I had initially was, and I might ask this body the same thing, when we discuss the setback, are we talking about the center line, which is the property line? Or are we talking about the edge of the access easement? And my personal and professional opinion, based on what I read, is that it is actually the edge of the easement, which would be supportive of what people will probably, so that's my first question. This has been in front of your board before. Is that the definition of the road? Are we talking about the edge or are we talking about the property line? Edge of the setback or the property
The
line?
easement is from the property line.
So we're talking about 60 feet from the center line, from the property line. That's what I'm trying to clarify here.
50 linear feet from the edge of the property line.
Okay, so we propose to put the building 20 feet from the edge of the access easement, which puts us 40 feet from the center line. Can you put that up? Oh, he's missing.
We need a, I'm sorry.
Brian got caught up there.
Okay,
You can hold.
give him just a second.
I don't want to mess because he had some
That's fine.
things set up. for you.
That's fine. You sure y'all good?
So I just want to be sure we're all talking about the same line in the sand before we move forward. Can we see the exhibit showing the property and where we propose or where Lucas proposes to put that building?
Is this the right page? Okay.
So the way the exhibit is demonstrated, we're 40 feet from the center line. So it's an impingement on request of 20 feet. 20 feet within the required 60 feet.
So,
So he's,
Mr. Kirkpatrick, let
Yes.
me just stop you for a second,
Okay.
because I want to, for your benefit and for our.
yeah, I
benefit.
need to know too.
Okay, so, Mr. Baca, so when the easement is 60 feet,
It's for,
does that start from the edge of the street or the edge of?
Chairman Commissioners, the setback measurement begins from the edge of the easement, the road right away.
Right.
So in this case, it looks like they measured 40 feet to the center line.
Mhm.
So it should, so this is actually a request to put this at 20 feet from the edge of the easement. So this is actually a larger request than originally.
Right.
I believe that we believed. I didn't realize it was
Well, I need to
measured to the
clarify
center
that.
line.
No,
So
but that coincides with what I said. You,
Yeah.
so, yeah, so you,
when I did not see the tapes, but I did read some of the comment. There was a confusion as whether the center line, and I still, I did find that very definition that you just stated.
so it is from the edge.
Yeah, I did, but that was after this exhibit was already presented.
Okay,
It was
so this
already,
exhibit,
yeah, so if we're going from the edge, we're asking for a change of 40 feet. I'm really not going to belabor you with all the same arguments that I did the last time regarding the arability, but that is the primary need or want or wish for this property, to put this so the land can be most arable and most irrigated in its most practical way. Okay. This isn't a corner piece. We don't have any issues. I didn't see anything in the existing context that would would give me a chance to say, yeah, we're doing what the neighbors are doing. I will just say to you, it's basically the same need as the last piece of property. We're asking for a 40-foot variance.
Commissioners?
Which direction does it water from?
The neighbors can help me with this. Is this piece,
West side.
is it? So it comes from the west, the water's that way.
That's from Ladera Road, Commissioner, and then when water from there changes and then goes east there towards the Cielo Vista Road. Yes, sir.
So it waters west to east, correct?
That is correct.
That one I didn't know. The other land I did know.
That diagram's upside down though, right?
Is the north?
Is that-
North is it's on the northeast corner, got it with the yellow box.
Oh, okay.
It's oriented correctly.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
North is up.
anything else, commissioners? John, is that it?
That's it.
Okay, go ahead and have a seat. Is there anybody present or online that wishes to come forward and speak in favor of the petitioner? Again, now's an opportunity for anybody wishing to speak in favor of the petitioner to come forward either here or online. Hearing none, is there anybody present wishing to speak against the petitioner? Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, come forward, sign in and state your name for the record.
I have signed in. Thank you, Commissioner. Jennifer Heiss Trujillo. I live at 24 Cielo Vista. I did receive a notification letter.
Mhm.
So one on the clarification, my request, as I know it is definitely to keep within that 60-foot request for the setback. Again, for keeping forward looking for your front yard. And also, I believe we were discussing, it's not presented on here, but I know it's in our other covenants that we wanted to have any additional buildings built behind the house, and the front of the yard was considered for the road it abuts against and for access to. I know Mr. Kirkpatrick, hopefully I said that correctly. Thank you, sir. Is saying that Cielo Vista is not truly a road. It may not be a county road, but it is definitely the only access to our homes, and that's all how we could get in there. So to me, it is definitely considered the road, and that would be the front of the property. So it would be on, if you will, the east boundary on that initial plat for you gentlemen. And lady, I apologize, Ms. Commissioner. So I would want to definitely maintain that 60-foot access. Right now, it would go for any kind of change, it just changes up the amount of land potential for his irrigation and agricultural purpose of that land. Commissioners, thank you.
Any questions? Hold on just a second. Mr. Trujillo, just a second. Commissioners, any questions?
Sure, how far there already?
There is land that's been built up there, yes, sir. The intention of the pad, I'm not going to clarify because I don't know, but there is a pad built, yes, sir. Pretty much. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Any others? Thank you all.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to come forward and against? Sign in and state your name for the record.
My name is Elena Trodden. I live at 23 Cielo Vista Road. The proposed area where the building is, we have the property that it butts up against. We're right next door. Again, I just want to state that there are no geographic, topographic, or other physical conditions on that site that would hinder them in any way from building it as they should with that proper setback. We've already stated, according to our covenants, according to zoning, that setback, it would be detrimental to us. It would be an eyesore. It would go against what the neighborhood subdivision has abided by. I believe every single one of our neighbors, we've had to do some amount of dirt work. We've had to arrange our properties in a way that maybe not ideal, but we worked with what we had and with what the covenants and the zoning provided for us. Us ourselves, when we purchased our property, there was an elevation to a strip of our property that went from east and west. And it was this strip of land that we actually dug out the whole back half of and brought that dirt to be able to put a house not in 3 to 4 or feet lower than that strip of land. So to make proper use of the land, we did a lot of costly dirt work. We were able to abide by what was there and what we had agreed to per our covenants and zoning. And again, there's no practical anything precluding them from doing the same, to be able to follow their dreams and do what they want with their structures in accordance with what the zoning says. Thank you.
Okay, just a second, commissioners? Anything? No. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else, either present or online, wishing to come forward and speak against the petitioner? Now would be the opportune time to come forward and speak against the petitioner, whether you're present or online. Hearing none, commissioners? I honestly think that this is a mute fact because the measurements are wrong. And so this is a mute fact. So, and it's not, and Mr. Baca and Melissa, I don't think that it would be right for somebody to put in to do something and then come to the podium and say, oh, well, we're going to ask for this instead. There's got to be checks and balances.
So Chairman, Commissioners, so on this request, the original request does ask for the building to be set 20 feet from the property line, which is what was shown on the site plan. He showed a measurement to the center line instead of to the side of the property line. The building itself is still going to be at the same setback distance as requested with the original application. So it was just a matter of the site plan showing the measurement to the center line versus to the edge of that easement as we discussed.
So the fault of that proposed, so who holds the fault for that traffic? The petitioner?
Chairman, Commissioners, of course, this is all documentation provided by the applicant.
Okay.
I just wanted to make that clear that the original request has been for it to be placed 20 feet from the edge of the road. So that, at the end of the day, that is your guys' determination on how you feel about how it's been presented to you.
Commissioners?
There aren't special. And it's not in. And, you know, apparently, that's the first three of this.
I see that the community is looking at Cielo Vista Road or Drive as a thoroughfare for the community. And I feel that the petitioner is looking at it like, well, it is what it is. And if there's, yeah, I safety. Again, I'm a safety kind of person. If the neighbors are using Cielo Vista as a thorough way for ambulances, fire department, police, kids going to school, whatever it is, then that's a safety issue right there. And that needs to be maintained and it needs to be kept open. And that's just my biggest thing. So commissioners, anything? All right. Yes, Mr. Kirkpatrick.
Want to remind the commission that covenants, or there's been a lot of mention of covenants. Covenants aren't enforceable. Okay. Looking at that 40-foot thing. Okay. I just wanted the commission to know there's been mention of covenants. And covenants aren't enforceable, but we're not talking about a covenant here. We're talking about a 60-foot setback. So I just wanted to make that clear. That is it. Thank you.
Just for the record, just to let my fellow commissioners know, we do not enforce covenants. So
But I don't think
When-
it
when-
was
when
ever an
co-
issue
when
regarding
covenants is
covenant.
brought up.
Yeah.
We can listen to it, but that has no bearing on our decision.
Yeah, I don't think that any of that was brought into.
And in fairness to the public,
Yes,
they
sir.
might not know
Okay.
the difference between that.
Maybe I'm just
and-
used to it like.
Yeah, yeah. No.
Cause I was like,
Covenants are important.
is that all, John?
That's it. Okay.
Okay, all right. Any other discussion with the commission? Okay. Nope. No. You already had your chance. Okay, I'm sorry. I can't, if I did that with you, I gotta do it with everybody and then we'd be here until, Easter. Probably not because,
Chairman Commissioners, I could provide her with the business card so she could contact me tomorrow.
There
when
you
I'm
go.
in the
Yeah.
office.
so. You could have done it after the meeting, but. it's okay. I'm not being, I'm not trying to be rude with you. You have to understand that we have to maintain a decorum here and we have to maintain, a neutrality here. And so I'm not trying to be rude to you. So, but the staff here, they're wonderful staff and they will, okie dokie. I hope that helps you out there. Okay. So commissioners, I'm sorry, where were we? So. Is it on me?
Yes.
This is mine?
Correct.
Okay, again, I think that this is a safety issue. It's more of a want than a need. I mean, a need than a want. The graphics are wrong, even though nomenclature in certain aspects are correct, but in other aspects they're wrong. So if there's any mistakes like that that are done in packets, I tend to go against that because then if they start building and they say, oh, well, that's the way it looked on the packet and you guys okayed it. So I would say that they would need to have to resubmit for this one with a more clarified packet. John Kirkpatrick, I'm pretty sure that he's a very educated and knowledgeable person. He's come before the commission many times before. And I think that on this one, he just didn't have enough time to get the information that we were looking for. And so saying that, I make a motion to disapprove.
Second.
Motion with the second. Is there any discussion on the motion in the second?
My reason for my vote is that I do not believe it meets the requirements of the variance, not just the safety issue.
Right.
Fair point.
Any other? Call to vote?
Commissioner Chavez, how do you vote? Commissioner Moran, how do you vote? Commissioner Aguilar, how do you vote?
Agree.
Commissioner Freeman, how do you vote? That was a yes for clarification. Chairman Sublett, how do you vote?
Agree. Okay, moving right along. Action item 7E. You good? Need some time? Okay. Zone change 2025-102, District 4, P and Z Commissioner Sublett, Board of County Commissioner Bazell. Mr. Baca?
Chairman, Commissioners, before you this evening is a request for the zone change number 2025-102, District 4, P and Z Commissioner Sublett, Board of County Commissioner Bazell. Tyler and Amy Otero request a zone change from Rural Residential District 2, RR2, to Rural Residential District 1, RR1, to subdivide the land into 4 parcels. Legal description: subdivision, land of Jose Silva, Lot A, 14.62 acres, 2006 revision, map 85, C516, DC for Jose Silva, 359, 17035. UPC 1009034241040, followed by 6 zeros, also known as 60 Silva Road, Los Lunas, New Mexico, 87031, zoned Rural Residential District 2, RR2, and I stand for any questions.
All right. Is the petitioner present? Please come forward, sign in, and state your name for the record.
Tyler Otero.
Amy Otero.
Chairman, Commissioners, I forgot to mention with this one, we did receive a petition that is in front of you guys. That's up to you guys how much you want to weigh that. And also if you do want to put that into record.
So did all the commissioners get a copy of that petition? It was a petition sent around to the neighborhood or concerned citizens. And I just want to explain this before you guys. So this petition looks like it has roughly 20, 40, 60, about 65 signatures. None of these can be verified. There wasn't enough time. There is a color code on there for direct impact, plaza proximity, and Tomei residents supporters, which I assume is supporting the petition against. But it does not show who has standing or not. So how you want to look at this petition is your own individual choice. Understanding that maybe a lot of these people do not have standing, so does that make sense? Is there any questions, commissioners? No. Okay, all right. I'm sorry, introduction again?
Tyler Otero.
I'm Amy Otero.
I'm sorry, what's your name again? Ma'am?
Amy Otero.
Amy.
Sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, commissioners. As of April this year, we purchased this property on 60 Silver Road. It came without water rights. So without water rights, it's basically hard for farming or anything like that. Currently, what we'd like to do with it is split it into the 4 parcels, 1 with the existing home, 2 for vacant parcels, 1.5 vacant parcels for our parents, and the other 10 for basically us. This is not for profit. This is strictly for family. This is basically move our parents in. As of November 5th, my father did suffer 3 strokes. So he would be a primary to move in. It would just be hard for me to put a 1,000 square foot house on a 2-acre piece of land. So our goal is to keep us within the family, and it's not for profit.
Can you bring the picture up, Mr. Buckham? Mr. O'Shara, how large is the lot, the whole lot?
14.6.
Acres?
Yes, sir.
And can you put the proposed splits on there?
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Or, I'm sorry, I guess I should have just asked for that in the first place.
Okay, give me a second. Let me get to this.
All right. Is that correct, Tyler?
I'm sorry. Yes, correct.
Okay, so you're wanting to break it up into 4 different lots,
Correct.
and all of them will go to R1.
R1, well, not the 10 acres. That'll be RR2. It is,
Yeah, it's
correct.
all R2 right now.
Chairman Commissioners, this request is for the entirety of that parcel. So that
Right.
it includes everything under that legal description right now going
Okay.
into the new zoning.
All right.
So
Corrected.
you understand that,
Yes,
right?
sir.
And you understand? Okay, so you understand.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Commissioner.
Is that the way you wanted to do it?
Yeah, that's fine.
Well,
No, that is,
Think about your answer.
no, that is exactly what we talked about long-term, but long-term is obviously 30 years, and that's not what 30 years I'm talking
Yeah,
about
but
today.
if this were to pass and all of that goes to R1, then there is a possibility that long-term goes out the door and it's like, hey, babe, we got 10 acres that we can split up as we wish and put 10 houses on it, and now we can make it profitable.
Yeah, and that's not our intentions.
So, but you still intend to go forward with this?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. Got anything else that you want to tell us?
No, sir. I think this is just a request.
How's your dad doing now?
He's doing okay. Limited vision, PTOT. So dealing with that stuff. Yes, sir.
That it?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, have a seat.
Thank you, sir.
Everything. Okay. Okay, moving right along. So this is the time that, if there's anybody present, either here or online, that wishes to speak in favor of the petitioner, now would be a time, or raise your hand. Now's the time that anybody wishing to speak in favor of the petitioner can come forward, sign in and state their name. Or talk to me online. Hearing none. If there's anybody present wishing to speak against the petitioner, now would be the time. Now, we had a special request that Rita, is that correct? Because she's the one who got the petition, the large petition done. If she could come forward, and I'll grant that. So but come forward, sign in and state your name for the record, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Rita Padilla Gutierrez, I live at 15 Church Loop, and I did receive my notification. Okay,
Just a second, just a second.
thank you.
Okay, Ms. Gutierrez, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Padilla Gutierrez, yeah,
Rita, yes.
yes.
So before you do start, I
Yes.
did want to say something. I understand that you're the one who went out and you got the people to sign the petition and all that stuff, and that's very good of you. So you feel strongly, but even though I give a lot of leniency when people come to speak either for or against, on this one, I'm going to ask you not to speak about the petition because there's no way for us to verify that the authenticity of the people on the petition or the relevance of the people who signed the petition. Does that make sense?
It doesn't. There are 8 people here that received the letter.
Okay, if
That
they
can
have,
speak.
if they have standing, then.
And they're on the petition.
And even if they don't have standing, I will recognize them to make a statement.
Yeah,
But if they have standing, then I can question them and I
Sure.
can get, responses from them.
and.
But I would ask that you not reference the petition because the petition is not verifiable. Now, if an individual that signed off on the petition comes forward, then that is verifiable because they come forward. But as far as you cannot verify the petition. Does that make sense? So that's what I'm asking, that don't refer to the petition. If you have people that are here that have signed off on the petition and they're going to come forward, then it's going to self-verify itself. But as far as your testimony right now, I don't want that to skewer anything going on.
Well, I wish we would have been told ahead of time when we do petitions, because in the past, when Tomaseños have had to fight a battle.
Was the county the one that told you to do a petition?
No, it didn't.
Okay, then how
But
can they tell you how to do it?
It
if
didn't
they-
tell us not to, and when we
But-
shouldn't.
Right, because.
So it's,
And you did it of your own free will, but it's not verified. So let's leave it at that. We did recognize it, but we can't verify it. That's all I'm saying.
mhm.
Okay? So trust me, I'm going to be 100% fair with you on
Well,
that.
I hope so.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we just have to do it the right way. Okay, so go ahead.
Then I will
Floor is yours.
request that the 8 people that are here and one online that signed the petition, they can speak for themselves.
Oh, everybody will have their opportunity to speak.
Absolutely.
They will.
Okay.
So.
Then I'll speak
And you
for
have
myself.
standing, so you can speak from your personal
Yeah.
from your personal point of view and from your proximity to the property
Yeah.
on why you are against the petitioner.
As I said, I live on 15, my house is on 15 Church Loop, which is right on the plaza of historic Tomé. I don't know whether you all know or not that the plaza of Tomé was designated a few years ago and even earlier as a National Historic Site.
Mr. Baca, can we bring that up again?
So it's a National Historic Site with the official signs around it. It houses the old jail on the plaza, which was when when Tomé was the county seat, is why we have a jail there, and it had a courthouse, just to give you a little bit of history. And the church, of course, it was built in 1750. Tomé was established in 1739. The church was built in 1750. So that is in itself a historic site. And the plaza itself is an historic site. So that's why it has received that designation. So in order to protect that historic site, those of us who were born and raised in Tomé and newcomers and whomever will agree that that's an important site to protect in terms of historical preservation. Now, the way to get to this particular development is and that's why I give you the photographs. You're not even accepting the photographs then, just to let you know, so you can see how a person gets.
If you
to the
look up on
site.
your screen, that shows where the property is.
Right. So you're not going to accept the photographs either then?
The photographs have been accepted and all the commissioners have had the opportunity to look at the
Okay.
photographs,
Yeah.
but we have to go by certain facts here.
Right.
Okay.
That's the property. So let's just go back to the photographs then.
Hold on just a second.
Excuse
sorry.
me.
Yes?
Where in proximity is the plaza to this property?
What did you measure, Mr. Baca?
Chairman Commissioners, it's directly east from this property, traveling along Silver Road.
Okay,
Uh,
where's the plaza that she's speaking of?
So directly to the east, this measurement is going to go to the center of the plaza approximately.
Okay,
Approximately a quarter of an acre to 0.3 miles, or excuse me, not acre,
0.29
miles, excuse me, yes.
And Ms. Gutierrez lives where?
Directly north of the plaza at 15 Church Loop.
And what's the distance there?
From property line to property line, approximately just under a quarter of a mile.
And what's that
241.
property zoned as?
The one there highlighted?
Her property around the,
Got to be R1.
Chairman Commissioners, everything in purple, including the highlighted property here in blue, are all currently zoned rural residential 2, RR2, excluding here on Highway 47, there is a little bit of C1 designation as well.
So that was all grandfathered in, right? As a C2 prior to.
Chairman Commissioners, I would have to look back at the history of it a little bit more to see what is established in those locations.
Go ahead, Ms. Gutierrez.
Well, the first picture, of course, is the official El Camino Real original route sign, which is right at the mouth of this entrance. When a person, first of all, the only way to get back to this development is through the plaza off of 47. And even if a person knew to come to Cedillo Road, they still have to get into this little road that I've described for you in pictures 2 and 3. Very sharp right turns, 2 or 3 of them, and then the fourth one even sharper. And then in front of Mr. Padilla's house, that's the fourth sharp right turn. And then I'm sorry, number 7, picture 7 is the 5th sharp left turn. I mean, really sharp. We're talking about huge. I have the privilege of sitting on my porch and watching the huge delivery trucks. The Conservancy last year had a huge project on the, in the Bosque and the irrigation ditches in the back. And they brought in literally tons of dirt were brought in for 2 weeks, constant. And in one occasion, and the little sign on that corner, picture number 1, that says La Salida to the Camino Real, was literally knocked down. And it's not the first time, it's always been, because these trucks can't make that. And they're, you know, trucks carrying 30-foot trailers at times.
So are you against,
It's hard
so
to get to there.
are you against the Conservancy as well?
Well, no, the Conservancy has to get back there, and that's the only way. This is going to exacerbate the situation even more to put in more traffic. It's an old farm road, basically, is what it is. And the way to get after that sharp right turn after Mr. Padilla's house, then it's a straight shot to the back, and they have to cross a ditch to get onto that old Silva property. So it's a 1-lane road. I don't think it's 40 foot. Maybe someone else can tell me that, Joel. Or it's not 40 feet easement kind of thing. So I'm personally concerned about the historic relevance and the preservation of Tomé. I don't know what else we can do to state our case regarding how a move like this will set a dangerous precedent. First of all, from rural 2 to rural 1, that's going to set the precedent. It's going to affect the whole 14 acres, not just the 4. So having up to 12, 13 homes in there is going to really exacerbate the situation. And as I said, I have the privilege of sitting on my porch and watching those, the traffic right now. When church is being held at the church on the plaza, exacerbated even more with the traffic patterns going on. So, I was going to describe more about what the color codes meant, but there's at least 8 people here that received the letter that can speak, themselves about how it's going to impact them. But for me, I think it's a huge, it's just going to ruin the historical value of Tomé and what it's about and what we've been trying to preserve for many, many years, centuries literally, that our families have been there. Those properties are ancestral agricultural lands, and we want people to recognize that Tomé might be a really pristine place for the Facebook people and Niagara and whoever else is coming over here, Los Lunas on the west side, to want to come and work here. And then they discover Tomé and they want to live in rural Tomé. And then they come in and then impose their values and want to make it different. And we want to keep it agricultural. Plain and simple, that's all it is, and historical, especially the plaza. I don't know if you, the way plazas were, excuse me. I hate to talk about history, but in terms of historical New Mexico, all the plazas that were built, Santa Fe, Albuquerque, Taos, any plaza, it's a circular thing.
Sure.
And it's on the Camino Real. After the Camino Real, folks were coming, they rested in Socorro, and they ended up in Tomé on the way up north. So they built a fortress around Tomé, around the plaza. And that's where that comes from. But the perimeter of the plaza is just as important, which means other people besides the people that didn't get a notice, they're directly right there going to be impacted. So That's just the way the plaza dynamic works.
And you bring up like the plaza in Santa Fe,
Mhm.
which is absolutely beautiful. And you see all the
Commercial.
things around it that have grown into that,
Yeah.
that have brought tourism and stuff. You see the plaza in Albuquerque, Old Town, and you see
Yeah.
commercial, you see all that stuff. But there's no commercial over here. And
No.
petitioners are not trying to go commercial. They're trying to have for family.
Yeah.
You understand that, right?
Yeah, I'm saying that a move like this, if you approve RR2 to RR1, is going to open that up for much more housing.
The
That really,
history-
water can't take it, the water table. There's so many issues regarding why 12, 11, 10, 4 homes would, as I said, exacerbate the situation.
So
Simple.
only you get to be at the plaza?
No. A lot of people come and enjoy the plaza and tour the plaza.
But you're the only one that can live at the plaza or near the plaza.
Well, whoever owns a home, and some of those homes have been owned by people literally for centuries, the families. So that's not our fault that that's the way that is. But I'm not sure, maybe 30, 40 years, when some of us are not even here, maybe that plaza is going to look different. And maybe it's going to become a whatever, but at this point, it's a serene, pristine place. And everybody that goes to the back, whether it's a conservancy. In fact, I had to call Mr. Otero one time because the sign was down, and he came to fix it right away when one of the big trucks brought it down. So it's not about keeping, it's just that some of those families have owned those plots for centuries, literally. So
So what you're saying is that Mr. Otero, Tyler,
I'm sorry.
so you're saying that Mr. Otero, Tyler, that when the Conservancy came by and knocked down some signs, he actually came to your help to put the signs back up?
I had to call the Conservancy, and they referred me to Mr. Otero because he is in charge of, I don't know what his title is, but that's what he handles. And I made the point because I'm saying that he's aware that big trucks come through there all the time.
But yet he
and
took-
have caused that.
Yeah, and he took his time to come.
Well, that's his job with the Conservancy.
Oh, so he
Yes.
did it as part of his job?
Yes.
Not on his free time?
Oh, no, as part of the job.
Okay.
I had to call somebody.
Okay.
It was the Conservancy.
I-
So, yeah, thank you.
So,
So
okay.
that's, since I can't say anything more, that's it.
Commissioners?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Gutierrez.
Thank you.
Anybody else wishing to come forward and speak against the petitioner? Ma'am, go ahead, come on up.
She didn't swear in.
Okay, Art, sign in and state your name for the record.
Andrea Padilla, President of the Town of Tumal Land Grant.
Did you receive a letter from the county?
Yes, the land grant did. So I'm speaking as a representative of the land grant, and I did submit a
Were
letter.
you, hold on, were you here when, did you get sworn in?
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
Andrea, go ahead.
And I am here to represent the land grant, and I submitted a letter already expressing our objection to this. And I understand that he wants to bring family. Our concern is it's a 14-acre piece, and he's claiming he wants to do 4 lots. But as you just stated, that can go all the way to 14 acres. So we're talking 14 houses. That's a lot of traffic for that 1-lane road. We already have issues with the water table in that area. I had to dig a new well. I had a shallow well, it went dry. So we have lots of issues. And this request is not for the benefit of our community. It's gonna hurt our community. And I think we owe it to the rest of the community to allow us to have the quality of life that we have there. And if this goes through, it's going to destroy that quality of life. And I don't want to hurt the gentleman. I know when you have family, you want to put them where you need to put them. And if I can get a guarantee that it's only going to be those 4 acres, then I may not be so opposed to it. But if he wants to put 14 houses down the road,
That was just,
that's what I'm saying. Why can't he petition to just do that piece and leave the 10 acres rural 2, or R2, separate it? Okay? The other thing that I wanted to express to him, if in fact this does fail for him, and he needs money or he needs to get rid of this property, the town of Tomoe Land Grant will be very interested in purchasing it from him. Because we are dedicated to agricultural. We want to preserve as much of the land in Tomé and agricultural to allow our youth who want to farm access to those properties. So I know right now it doesn't have water rights, but that's something that we could take care of by buying other water rights and replacing them on that property so that it is agricultural. And again, if it's just for his family, 4 people, 4 homes, I'm fine. But I don't like the idea of letting it go all the way to the 14 acres. And down the road, if it's just the 10 acres in the back, the land grant would buy that from him. And we pay market value. It's not like we're going to underbid him or whatever, but we would pay market value for that property. So we want him to know that. And just state that, yeah, we are opposed to it as it is now, but if he could just leave the 10 acres as RR2, we may not be so adversely against it. But as it stands right now, it's going to be a detriment to our community. And I mean, a lot of you have brought that up. Is it going to be positive for the community? It's not going to be positive, especially for the church and for the people that live in that area. Thank you.
hold on just a second,
Hold on,
Commissioners.
Do you live in the area?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Now, Mr. Otero had stated that he had wanted to, but because of him owning the entire property and he's going to subdivide it, that 10 acres also has to be RR1. Okay.
No, what he said was,
Isn't that what?
he said that
Mr. Baca?
that he wanted just the 3 to go to R1, but
R1.
because it got put in that all of it was going to R2, or R1, he said, well, just might as well change them all. That's what I remember. Is that correct, or commissioners or anybody else?
Mr. Baca?
Chairman Commissioners, that sounds correct. If he wanted that 10 acres to remain RR2 as it currently stands, he would have to first subdivide the properties, take
Right.
off that 10 acres, subdivide the northern portions, come to the request with just those northern portions for the zone change, and then it would apply to just those. As it stands,
Okay.
the legal description
My
covers
bad.
the entire parcel.
Right, but so the way it's being presented to us was all of the property is
all
going to
of it.
R1, but the way he presented it was, oh, I just wanted the 3 for the houses to be R1. And I said, well, it's showing all of it. And then I verified with Mr. Baca, and Mr. Baca said, yes, all of it's going to do it. And then Mr. Otero said, well, then we might as well do it all like that. So there's a misunderstanding somewhere. So,
Yeah.
but okay. Any questions for Ms. Padilla?
No.
Nope. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else wishing to come forward? Sir, come forward and sign in. State your name for the record.
Excuse me, real quick. At the beginning of the meeting, when we were asked to stand up and
Swear in.
swear in, a lot of you did not swear in, okay? When you come up to the podium and you want to speak, if you could please let us know that you did not swear in at the beginning. That way we could swear you in.
I did not.
Okay, thank
My
you.
name is Joseph Padilla, and I did not swear in, but I would like to speak.
Okay. Let me go ahead and get you sworn in.
Okay?
And did you receive a letter from the county?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Raise your right hand, repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Joseph Padilla,
Swear to tell the truth, the whole
Sure.
truth, and nothing but the
swear
truth.
to
so help
tell
me
the
God.
truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
Excellent. Go ahead, Joseph.
So To be clear, I am here in opposition to this, but it's nothing personal to Mr. Otero. I live directly north. My daughter lives directly north of him. She's got a 2-acre piece right across the road, and then I got the 12 acres behind her. And I grew up in the home that she now lives in, my daughter does, and it's directly across from there, maybe 100 yards from his abode. And to be fair to Mr. Otero, it's not his fault. I blame the previous owner who stripped the water rights and took that pristine land away from the area. We have pre-1907 rights and we aim to keep them, and we're going to try to preserve that forever. But I've got nothing against Mr. Otero. He and I are friends. We've had each other over, and our families have had courtship with one another or whatever fellowship. But I still am against I really wasn't aware what the RR2, RR1 designation meant. What I'm gathering is that it's trying to change a minimum of 2 to a minimum of 1. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay, so.
in essence.
In essence, okay, so I'm not opposed to what he's trying to do, Back when I built my home 25 years ago, I chipped off 5 acres from our piece and designated it whatever it is and built a home on it. But I do think that a minimum 2 acres, with this respect, in the context of the agrarian society that we've all came up with around that particular area, across the Peralta, Maine, there's a 75-acre piece there that's continually being farmed or grazed upon. Farther north of his, farther south of his property, adjacent to him, there's 20 acres that's been being farmed.
Okay, hold on just a second. Mr. Baca, could you bring up that proposed change again, the picture of the proposed change? So, Mr. Padilla, as you look at this picture, so you see where Mr. Otero's home is now with the blue circle and the arrow, right? And that's on 1.5 acres.
Yes.
And then you have northeast of that is a 1.5 acre
Yes,
next to the Tomei ditch. And then south of that is a 1.5 acre.
yes.
So if Mr. Otero were to change those to R1 and maintain the lower southern 10 acres as RR2, would you still be opposed to it, or would?
Yes, I would still be opposed to it. I do believe that a 2-acre minimum should be the standard and should remain the standard for the agricultural area that we are presently living in. So with respect to what he's trying to do, I hadn't seen this plot here prior to this. And I may or may not have encouraged him, if I had known this was going to happen, to increase those to 2 acres and, all of it to the RR2 designation. I don't see a problem in that. Obviously, I don't want any more homes around me. As a matter of fact, I just took out a double wide that we had on our property for a lot of years renting out, and I took that away last year. I'm trying to remain agricultural and rural where I live and where we live and where we bring up our kids and our grandkids, and I'm sure he wants it to remain the same. I'm just not willing to accept going from 2 acres to 1 acres if it's not necessary.
So if Mr. Otero were to do a different type of plot split that encompassed 2 acres for his current home, 2 acres for a family home, 2 acres for another family-owned home, leaving 8.5 acres instead of the 10 acres in RR2, would you be acceptable to that?
Well, then that would basically say that it's going to be all RR2 remaining, correct?
No, it'd be the 3 2-acre lots would be R1.
It would be RR2 though. They
No,
would
that-
all-
Yeah, I guess it would be.
Yeah, that would be 2. So yeah, anyway, what you're saying, yes, I would agree to that. I mean,
But then he need.
obviously, I don't want any houses around me, but I am in favor of new people and families and that stuff because I had to do it and everybody else has had to do it.
So
And
your
that's just
advice
what
for
we've
Mr.
come to.
Otero would just make a a lot split
I'm
and
not-
keep it all R2.
I'm not advising him to do anything. I just want the district, the area where we live in, to remain RR2 at all costs. And that's our opinion. We're up here to give our opinion, correct?
Yes, sir.
That's what I am trying to emphasize to, Mr. Otero, everybody that I'm speaking
Yes, sir.
toward right now.
Yes, sir.
So that's.
Oh, and your opinion is valuable.
And if you, right here, if you zoom out a little bit, my daughter and my property is exactly the other side of the road there, straight across. So we would be looking
North.
directly. We'd be looking south directly at that
Yeah,
property.
so your property is north. of-
Correct. We are just north.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yep.
so just straight north
Yep.
of his. Yes. So, yeah, like I said, I understand that families grow and change and whatever. That, he's a young father and has children and we know them and we have a relationship with them. I don't want to be incumbent upon anyone. I just don't think that you can't maintain the same thing on 2 acres than you can on 1 acre. That's just my opinion. I want the whole thing to remain RR2 and I want everywhere to remain RR2 at a minimum. If it was RR5, I would want that. If it was RR10, I would want that because of how I was raised, brought up, grown, farm, continue to bring up, cattle, ranching, et cetera.
Mhm.
So that's all I've got.
Commissioners?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Padilla, thank you, sir. Anybody else? Yes, sir. Ma'am? She had her hand up first. I'm sorry. Come on up, sign in and state your name for the record. Did you receive a letter from the county?
Yes.
And were you here to swear in previously?
Yes.
Okay. While you're doing that, I'm going to change the batteries on my.
I just want to say that I'm speaking for my brothers and myself, that we would like, if possible, for this to stay at RR2. We have land adjacent to where this property is, and I don't think the way it's being requested that it will stay at 10 acres and then 1.5 acres. You're giving a variance for the whole 14 acres, and that could become a real problem. There's not utilities there as far as public utilities. You'll have septic tanks there. You'll also have to have wells there. And he mentioned that he wants to put 1,000 square foot home on 1.5 acre plot. That's very doable. There is no reason why that can't happen. And that's all I have to say.
Excuse me, ma'am. Can you state your name and address?
Pardon?
Can you please state your name and address for the record?
My name is Elizabeth Jaramillo Brun, and I live at 17 Calle de Montañas in Santa Fe, New Mexico. But we have 48 acres that adjacent that, and another 40 acres just north or south of that. It's the Arturo Jaramillo land.
You came all the way from Santa Fe?
Yes, sir, I did.
And you say you received a letter?
Yes, sir.
The 40 acres.
And you would. Okay, I'm good.
You're good.
I'm good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. hon. Anybody else wish to speak against? Sir? Come forward. Sign in. State your name. Did you receive a letter from the county? Did you receive a letter from the county?
Excuse me?
Did you receive a letter from the county?
Yes, I did. I have it right here.
And were you here earlier to,
Get sworn in? Yes. I was standing behind the tall gentleman over there.
Go ahead and sign in and state your name for the record, sir.
Okay. Hey, my name is Fabian Padilla. I've been a long-time resident of Tomé, lifetime resident, actually. And I'm the guy that owns a house where all the traffic goes through that I have to see every day. approximately 100 cars a day. I am totally against this. I don't know this gentleman, I've never met him, Mr. Otero, but I know that he's a district manager for the MRGCD. And the MRGCD has adopted a logo that they use on all their correspondence now. And it says, "Help us keep the valley green." Wonderful. But if people like Mr. Otero and others keep subdividing prime farmland, there's not going to be a valley to be kept green. And I need to remind Mr. Otero that he is an employee of MRGCD, and their job is to provide water and services to the people who pay their salary, our taxes. I just sent mine in. I went over there and I paid it.
Commissioners, can we get back to the request? This is getting a little off topic here with the
Yeah,
MRGCD.
if you can tell us what you feel about Mr. Otero.
Okay, yeah, okay, I'm getting to that. Now, some people have mentioned that the water table has lowered. Since I've been there, the water table has dropped about 4 feet. And that's because of all the people moving in. Now,
Don't you think that also, since we're going through a drought cycle?
No, that's, I've kept records of the rainfall for the last 22 years. And
Did you bring those records with you, sir?
no, I didn't. I have them at home. But
Go ahead, continue.
even though there's been drought, but there's been some real good years too. You know, there's been years that we had 4 inches of rain. There's been years that we have 17 inches of rain. So it averages out to 9 inches per year. And in spite of that, the water table has dropped. It has dropped approximately 4 feet.
Okay.
And I hate to say this because it's kind of a touchy issue, but Niagara over here didn't
Okay,
help
sir,
anything.
that's not part of what we're talking
Okay.
about. Okay, so I
That's one of the reasons the water table went down. But
no,
my point is, more wells, more drawing water out of the system, out of the aquifer, is just going to make things worse. And
so you're a property owner there, correct?
yes, I own.
So Mr. Otero is a property owner there.
I own the 12 acres east, directly east of here.
So Mr. Otero owns the 14.5 acres west.
He's west of me, I'm
Right.
across the ditch, yeah.
Okay, so does he have any less right to take, other than the fact that he doesn't own the water rights, but so yes, he does, but forget it, go ahead.
Well, anyway, first of all, the story came out that after he bought the place, that they were going to put up one house for an elderly person, and then we're going to leave everything else the same. And now it turns out that it's going to be broken up into 4 equal parts. And then now I just learned that part of it, they want to subdivide and leave the other 10 acres.
No. That's, okay, so I said that.
Yeah.
I said, what would stop him from doing that?
Yeah, okay.
So that was not their idea or anything like that. The reason I said that was to bring clarity to everybody who's listening to this, okay? Because some people don't understand that could be a possibility. So it's only going to help everybody understand the decisions that we are up here making and why we're making those decisions, because we can see things that other people can't. And we wanted to bring that out into the open. So that was not Mr. Otero, that was me. And that was for the informational use of the public, such as citizens like you. So that's not him. They did not say that.
Okay.
Go ahead, continue.
Well, in any event, I'm against it. I consider myself a caretaker of the land.
Yes, sir.
We're land people. The Padillas are land people. That's what we do. We farm, we ranch. We consider ourselves good caretakers of the land. And I need to remind Mr. Otero that if things keep going the way they've been for the last 20, 30 years, the counties of Bernalillo and Valencia and Socorro, we've lost thousands of acres of prime farmland. And that land of his is better than prime, because I've seen what they've grown there. It's better than my land. My land's pretty good, but that one's better.
Okay,
And if the issues of water, the water rights that have been sold, there's ways around that.
okay,
You know,
commissioners?
it can still be farmed.
Okay, commissioners?
Thank you.
Hold it.
Any
Okay,
questions?
thank you, Fabian.
Mhm.
Anybody else, either present or online, wishing to speak against the petitioner? Go ahead, come forward, sign in, state your name for the record. Did-
Not here for the swearing as well.
Okay, so I'll get you sworn in a second.
My
And
name
did
is
you get a
Brittany.
letter from the county?
I did, sir. My name is Brittany Padilla.
Brittany Sadia?
Padilla.
Padilla? Okay.
Chairman Commissioner, we're still online. I was just going to mention if there's anybody else that didn't get sworn in that wants to come up and speak, do you want to just swear them all in at once? Is this the last? Okay.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Brittany Padilla,
Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. I just wanted to reiterate what my dad said, Joseph Padilla. We are more than cordial with them. My children play with their children, so it's not a personal thing. I live directly north of them, within a rock throw, I would say. And the reason why I moved back into the home that my grandfather built was to get away from the city and get away from the traffic. And I think the best way, again, in my opinion, would be to keep the R2 status, keep the 2-acre minimum. Like you said, there's nothing stopping them in the future, potentially, from dividing those 10 acres into 1-acre lots and creating 10 homes, in addition to the 4 that they already want to put there. So I think just in raising my children, in being a member of this community, that it's, and historically as well, it's not beneficial. Again, what need is there to create a 1-acre minimum or 1-acre plot to build a house when you have 2 available?
Okay, so they're not in the plans right now. So right now, 1.5 acres.
Correct.
Okay, so,
1.5 to 2.
but
My,
I think some people are they're looking at what the possibilities are. Just like
Correct.
we were looking at the possibilities.
yes, there's the potential, so I'm against the 1-acre just because there's a potential. If we can keep the 2-acre minimum, I think that's the best, in the best interest of our community, as well as the agricultural status of where we live and why we live there. And that's all. Yes, sir.
Commissioner?
You know, they could put 8 or 9 there right now.
Yes, they have, well, 7-ish.
Right. And they were meant to be ready.
Correct. But 14 is a lot different than 7.
And with the price of water rights, I understand what he's going through because
No, absolutely. I agree that they are in a rock and a hard place situation with the water rights. I mean,
Well, not only that.
correct, absolutely. And there's family needs and stuff like that.
rights irrigate.
So.
Yeah.
Bringing family close together, it just helps. And,
Absolutely.
You know, so.
Yes, and I'm not opposed to anything like that. And even if he decides to build 7 houses right there, I'm just saying that if, in my opinion, if we can keep the 2-acre minimum and limit the housing opportunity, again, the option, I think that's, again, in our best interest.
Anything else?
No,
Commissioner? Thank you very much.
thank you.
Is there anybody else, either present or online, that wishes to speak against the petitioner?
May I say something? I don't know if I can go again, but.
You can't.
No, it didn't.
You can't go again. I gave you ample opportunity.
I'm trying to address something you just said, which was incorrect in my opinion. You said that they are not trying to build 1.5.
No.
Which is in effect incorrect. They are trying to go RR2 to RR1.
Right,
Okay, so
right, right.
that is.
Okay, no, I understand that.
That's very deceptive when you're saying that they're not asking for 1.5. No, they're asking for 1.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Is there anybody present or online that wishes to speak against the petitioner? Ma'am, go ahead. Go forward, signing, please, for the record. Did you swear?
I swore in earlier.
Okay. and
Yeah, I
did
got here
you
just in
receive a
time.
letter from the county?
Well, pardon?
Did you receive a letter from the county?
I may have. I don't always get to the post office in time.
What's your name?
My name is, let me adjust this. My name is Adolphine Carroll, and I live in the Church Loop, live next to Rita. But what I wanted to say here is, or rather ask all of you, is when was the latest time that you took the time, especially this is because this is the happening now, to go over and go look through the Tomei area and the area that's been being discussed? Literally come together, a couple of you, and I'm sure that Rita, I'm volunteering your time here, but there be, or she'll find someone that will take you just around the area so that all that's being said today or tonight, it can be a more viable thing to understand once you've seen it visual. I've worked in the entertainment industry for, well, I'm 83 now, and I started when I was 15. And the thing that I have found is that once you can see and experience what you're doing and trying to make decisions on, it might bring some clarity to what everyone has been saying. Okay.
Said a lot.
Yes. So I'm finished. Should I sit down?
No.
Oh, okay, fine.
We're not allowed to.
Not allowed.
Oh, you're not allowed to go see, and if you've never been there or been through, oh my goodness, well, congratulations.
Hold on, wait a little.
Okay, that was enough for me. Okay, okay. I heard enough, okay.
We have the weekend that we study these packets, we have to go over everything, and our job is very intensive, we've got to go through a lot of stuff.
Okay,
And then it comes to, the commissioner, whose district it falls in, they usually are in my hot seat, they're the ones that do all the questions.
mhm,
All the things that have come before us tonight have been in my district, so that's why I've taken the lead on it.
okay,
But then I asked my commissioners and their advice and their response, and so you might see that. I'm not on a grandstand. But, but we all have to come in here neutral. We do. We don't talk to each other because we don't have quorums like that.
right,
There's very specific rules, and those rules are so that when we come to a consensus, it's a consensus that we came to all looking, hearing, and seeing the same thing, and that is you and the other witnesses and the petitioners. That is what we go on.
okay,
And the same amount of information in the package. Now, if you say on a personal basis, look, have you ever been here? Well, I can tell you that I'm a lifelong resident of Valencia County. I have a business that's located in between City of Rio Communities and Tomei. I got friends in Tomei. I've gone to Tomei. I go to the river to go fishing and hunting. I've been through the things because I like seeing the different, historical things like that.
Right.
Yes, I have. But I don't live there, I live in Belen. So I look at it that way. I also, so yes, I have been, and I know exactly what they're talking about. A lot of times when I see the pictures, I'm like, oh yeah, I've been there 100 times,
Mhm.
you know? So, but I have to maintain neutrality, and that's why when it comes to my district, part of it, I want to hear what's coming from their heart.
Right.
So,
I can understand that.
so that's where I stand.
Right.
As an individual, but as a commissioner, and especially as the chair, I have to maintain that neutrality, and I give everybody a chance. And I will give people a chance to step on their own toes or to shine like a bright star. Okay,
Hmm.
does that help you out?
I hear what you're saying. Yeah, so I guess that's the best I can say.
Is there anything else?
That's enough for me. Thank you.
Is there anybody else, either present or online, wishing to speak against the petition? This will be another opportunity, if you want to speak against the petitioner, either online or present, to make yourself noticeable. Hearing none, commissioners?
I'm not sure. If Chairman Commissioners, I'm not sure if Mrs. Christensen is trying to speak. She's online right now.
Yes.
I see she was unmuted.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
We can't hear you, ma'am.
No.
Your microphone,
Okay.
it's not muted, but do you have the volume up?
Okay. I will have Jerry Rhodes speak. If I was, if you could make me be heard, I would say, let's keep it at 2 acres. I agree what, Joe Padilla and many of the other speakers said, that we'll keep it at 2
Chairman Commissioners,
acres.
it's not muted, but for some reason, we're not hearing what she's saying coming through her microphone. I'm not sure what's happening.
Okay. But if you could, convey that feeling and let Jerry Rhodes take over. She may know how to do it.
Hello, Deb.
Yes?
We cannot hear you. We cannot hear you.
Okay. Let somebody else talk.
No, everything's connected on it as far as that goes. Chairman Commissioners, the other Mrs. Rhodes is also online and she asked if she could speak tonight. She does not have standing, however, Miss Christensen does.
Yes.
And
You know, I want to give everybody an opportunity, but we can't, you know.
so
You wouldn't have to have a phone number to Ms. Christensen where you could call her and.
no.
Hello, I'm Jerry Rhodes and I can speak for Deb.
Oh, is it there? Okay. It's on the petition.
Yeah.
It's on the last page. I don't know if we can get a phone call to her real quick and say we can't hear you.
Do you have a work phone?
No, I don't have work.
Oh, from your business phone. Chairman Commissioners, even so, there's 2 individuals. There's Mrs. Rhodes and Mrs. Christensen online right now. Mrs. Rhodes is stating that she can hear Mrs. Christensen. And I think they can hear each other, but for some reason, the audio is not coming through to us.
Okay.
They've both stated they can hear each other, it looks like.
Okay. My opinion is that we should keep the
We've got it.
R2.
See if I can hear her.
Chairman Commissioners, they're both speaking at will. They're both unmuted, but it's not coming through for some reason through our system here. I'm not gonna mess with IT stuff. There's too many options.
Yeah,
Oh.
okay.
Gonna have to go on. I can't. Well, there's.
Can you see me now?
Yes.
Chairman Commissioners, Melissa said she's willing to give him
They
a
can
call over
see
her
it.
phone if you would like her to try to do that on speakerphone and put it to the mic.
Is that okay with you? Melissa?
That's fine with me. Okay.
Christensen first.
Jerry, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Debbie.
Okay, here's what I would like to say, that we should keep the RR2 because if it should go to
Mrs.
one.
Christensen, we are going to try calling the cell phone number that we have. If you want to answer that, and we'll put you up to the microphone so that the commissioners are able to hear your testimony today.
Okay,
Mrs. Rhodes will do the same with you following her testimony.
That's fine.
Hello, Ms. Christensen, can you hear me?
yes, this is Deborah Christensen, and I did receive a letter. I live at 20 Church Loop. My house is at 20 Church Loop. And I agree with what Joe Padilla and many of the other speakers have said, that the land should be kept RR2. I worry that if it should go to RR1, that there'd eventually be so many houses. And the traffic on the plaza. It would just be terrible. And I do think we need to save our farmland as much as possible. And save the atmosphere that we have at the plaza.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Yes.
Miss Rhodes, we're going to be calling you with the number we have now to you as well.
Rhodes?
Hello, Ms. Rhodes, you're on speakerphone here at the Valencia County P and Z meeting.
Yes, I live on the Tome Acequia, but I did not receive a letter. I'm somewhat south, but not very far south of the Otero land. And I would like to see instead that Mr. Otero requests the 10 acres be rezoned agricultural and leave the 4 as 2-acre plots, two 2-acre plots. I don't see any reason for him, if he believes in agricultural, not to do that.
Okay, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Anybody else present or online wishes come forward to speak against it? Commissioner?
I have several questions. Could I talk to the candidate? Just ask him questions?
Participants, you can come back forward.
So I have a question. Is it a hardship for you to keep the properties 2 acres and then retain the rest, the remaining 8.5?
No, it's not a financial issue.
Not so, but a hardship what made you want to do 1.5 versus 2? Is there a particular?
Basically, dealing with, sorry.
So
ultimately, in the future, we would like to ensure that each of our children have a 2-acre parcel. So we're trying to ensure like our children's future within 2 acres.
How many children do you have?
We have 3.
Well, you would have 8.5 acres left if you made these, and then that would certainly assure them.
We would like to bring in our both sets of our parents. I'd like to see my brother and have our kids. So this really would ensure that we can really take care of our family.
Right.
And who knows if our children would want
Right.
the land or anything in the future. But it's just really to ensure.
It's not really a hardship to you. So that was what I was trying. Do you, on the remaining 8 or 10 acres, do you plan to farm it even though you don't have water rights, or what do you plan to do with it?
That, I mean, obviously I've considered a lot of different avenues. I mean, my job, I do know people that have water rights that are available, but obviously, you know, I don't want to play the game of what ifs, you know, that's not what I'm here to do tonight with you guys.
Okay. Oh, knowing that your father is ill, have you spoken with Mr. Bakke here about one of the variances for taking care of Ellie? You have? All right. A conditional use to have a secondary dwelling on your lot to take care of your parent?
We have not discussed any of that right now. As far as my dad, like, it's his eyesight at the moment in time. It's not necessarily physical, but he can't transport himself, so it'd be, or he can't cook, let's just be honest. So it'd just be easier if he was, you know,
Right.
close.
So having him closer on your, you know, on your property in a secondary dwelling, a temporary secondary, I'd say talk to Mr. Bakke about that, that option. So I do have, let's see. Well, I think that's all I have the candidates. I have a question of Mr. Bakke and
3 kids, right?
Correct. Yes, sir.
So it's you, 3 kids. Your parents. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's, and you say mom or brother.
We have
Brother?
Correct.
So that's for the one, because so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right?
Yeah, but then,
So at 2 acres apiece, that's 14 acres. You have a total of 14.5 acres, so that gives you guys extra acres. So you guys get 2.5 acres.
but that's half an acre to build a road. And that wouldn't build a road.
You can do that right now.
Yeah.
The way the property is. Why do you have to go to R1?
right.
Well, we're just requesting R1 just so then we can have that extra land for that road. Because I bet you would probably do about an acre, maybe an acre and a half of for the road.
Well, roads don't count as separate from the property, correct?
Chairman Commissioners, they do when it's RR1, not when it's RR2.
So, right, so if you kept it
So-
RR2, it doesn't count.
The easements are irrelevant, yeah, so not part of the total acreage.
Right.
So you would be doing yourself
Favor.
a misnomer by getting it to R1.
Yeah.
Because then now you deduct road.
Right.
And depending upon where you put the road, if you put the road in the center, so then you've got a big turnaround.
Correct.
So turnaround for the county, what, minimum 90 feet?
40-foot width for the road, 50-foot radius, so total 100-foot, 50-foot radius for the cul-de-sac.
That would just be taking away more land.
Right.
Yeah, but then hopefully in return, we'd hopefully turn it over to a county road and not such a private road.
Mm.
But that would be, I mean, obviously a wish in the future.
Wouldn't stop you in the future. I mean, right, they can petition the county if they wanted to.
As far as the roads go, that's separate from being RR1 or
Right.
R2 for today's
Right.
request. That'd be something we would discuss a little more with Public Works in order to see if
Have
that's
to
something
go
they
to
wanted
public
to receive. Yeah.
discuss, but doesn't stop that. So oh, I lost my train of thought. Well, I guess I just don't see it necessarily as a hardship, more of a want than a need type thing that we discussed. And you can drill a well on each residential or two lot, correct?
Chairman Commissioners, as far as the county goes, yes, that's something they'd have to seek guidance from the New Mexico State Engineer's Office.
Right. Well, yes, state engineer, because in Tierra Grande, that's the rule. Yeah, everybody gets a right to drill a well on their lot. It's just you don't own the water rights for any agricultural farming.
For residential use, that's correct.
Yeah.
And there's no restrictions on the county's end for that.
I do have, I think that's all I have of the candidate, but I have two more questions. So on the letter that we received from Teresa Smith, the sheriff, sorry if I mispronounced that. So I need a clarification, Ryan. It says, under New Mexico statute, soil and water conservation districts are authorized to review terrain management plans for all new developments proposed within their boundaries. Is that true?
So Chairman Commissioners, the terrain management comes into play whenever something goes into a full subdivision. So if something falls within a summary review process or it is going through a claim of exemption, those are held a little differently. But if it were to be a full subdivision, which would be 6 or more new created parcels of land, then we would be looking at terrain management. We would be looking at utilities. We'd be looking at additional infrastructure that would be provided by, at that point, they'd be a developer and you'd be expecting the developer to develop these as ready to be built in lots, essentially.
So essentially, they'd have to be aware of that because they could do 7 lots, but because of.
So it does, that does not apply.
Okay, it doesn't apply to them at all?
So Chairman Commissioner, not for the terrain management in this case. If in the future they were to subdivide that property and it falls under the Subdivision Act of New Mexico, part of that is terrain management, which by statute, and I believe even through our ordinances, it does state soil water conservation district is responsible for terrain management and dust control, stuff along those lines.
I could see that, and that's why in the beginning, I asked them, that 10 acres, that could turn into big, but I didn't want to, I got enough trouble just mentioning that, let alone going deeper into the rabbit. So they were like, no, but no, that does not, from what I'm reading, that's not, there's no.
So my last point is back to, the review criteria for quasi judicial zone change exemptions. And there's 3. The proposed change is consistent with the goals, policies, and other applicable provisions of the comprehensive plan. For Tomei, don't believe that meets the criteria of the comprehensive plan for that particular community. And then the proposed change is appropriate considering the surrounding land uses, density, and pattern. I don't think that's appropriate. I think everybody else is 2 acres, and I don't think it meets that. That's my own opinion. And then the last one is the proposed change enhances the county's protection of public health, safety, and welfare. I don't see that it meets that either. So just on the requirements for this, 2 cents.
I don't understand why you don't want to just keep it as 2 and go with 1 when it would meet the needs of your family and your surrounding neighbors to just keep it as 2 and divide it. I don't feel the hard, I don't hear the hardship there. Why absolutely one instead of two?
Yeah, speak on that one.
Yeah, honestly, we were just trying to consider all of our family members and then considering a road. We were really factoring the road as a big portion into our decision with this. And that's really where it came from.
But from what I understand, if we were to keep it as R2 and divide it, you would have enough land for each family member up to
It wouldn't count against them.
Right.
And
Thank
the
you.
road wouldn't count against you.
Okay.
Right.
Do you guys understand that?
Yeah, no, we completely understand.
And Mr. Baca, we're on the same page of that, right, with the road?
Chairman, Commissioners, correct. So it's RR1, the total, so the minimum acreage allowed in an RR1 is 1 acre, including easements, and RR2, a minimum of 2 acres, excluding any easements taken into account.
So it's to your benefit, actually, I think.
Okay.
What's the size of that easement, if they keep it, RR2?
Chairman, Commissioners, it still remains 40-foot width and 50-foot cul-de-sac, regardless of the zoning, RR1 or RR2.
I'm good.
Everybody good? Okay, so this one's in my district. Again, so, Mr. and Mrs. Otero, understand that, I'm very big pro building, pro business and pro all that stuff. But I think that I'm gonna do you guys one heck of a favor, and you may not look at it that way. But I would say that, I'm gonna make a motion. And, after the motion, I'll talk.
Yes, sir.
So I motion to disapprove.
I'll second.
So motion is second, any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the vote.
Commissioner Chavez, how do you vote?
Agree.
Commissioner Moran, how do you vote?
Agree.
Commissioner Aguilar, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Freeman, how do you vote?
Yes.
Chairman Sublett, how do you vote?
Yes. Let me explain to you why I'm saying I did you. You'll have the ability to do exactly what you want. If you keep it, if you maintain the property the way it is, whether you farm it or not, you have the ability to do exactly what you're asking to do.
Yes, sir.
So you can already do what you're asking to do. All the requirements that you're asking us for, or all the situations that you're saying, well, we've got this, my dad is, his eyesight going out and wanting close. Commissioner said, man, there's rules that you can go in there for special use, well, we'd like to have a kid here and a kid here, and, our parents here and your parents there, and like, you have the ability to do that right now. You have that ability to do that right now.
Yes, sir.
If you go in there and you're saying R1, that hurts everybody's hair on the back,
Yes,
And
sir.
you're gonna get a lot of fights. And it seems to me that through the testimony that I have witnessed and the rest of the commissioners have witnessed here, is that it's a very close-knit community and they care about their community. I've had multiple witnesses that have come up here and said, we like them, they're good people, our kids play together, we drink beer, they didn't say drink beer, but, we hang out together, blah, blah, blah. And that's a good thing.
Yes, sir.
So I think that we're doing you some justice here, but if you, and even by your own words, you said, well, we only wanted to do the top 3 R1, but since it says all of them, we'll get for all of them. It's like, well, if your mind isn't really truly made up on it, then, that's like, well, I don't even know if he's really wanting this. Is he doing it because of a typo? Well, then let's not do that. So there's a lot of factors that come into this, and that's why we take this very seriously. And you may feel a little disgruntled on this, but
No,
trust me when
sir.
I say that I'm doing you a favor.
No, and I
if you
appreciate
need
you.
to- If you need to resubmit and you say, wait a second, you got a different plan, then I invite you, resubmit. But as far as this one,
Freeing you up.
Yes, sir. Yeah, thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Commissioners. Appreciate you guys.
all right, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. County Finance Authority Commission will be Tuesday, January 27th, 2026 at 5 p.m. That's it for the commissioners.
27th, 27th.
And, I guess there's all that stuff then, right?
Time and everything, yeah.
Yeah.
About changing the meeting time. Yeah.
And, so action item 9, permit. Motion. Motion second, discussion on motion second. Hearing none, call vote.
Commissioner Chavez, how do you vote? Commissioner Moran, how do you vote?
Oh, yes.
Commissioner Aguilar, how do you vote? Commissioner Freeman, how do you vote? Chairman Sublett, how do you vote?